Good evening and welcome to the official start of the 2017 regular season for the WPIAL football campaign. I'm Sean Meyers alongside my broadcast colleague Cory Campano here, Martorelli Stadium in Westview, the venue for this matchup in 5A between the visiting Upper St. Clair Panthers and the homestanding North Hills Indians. I want to thank you for tuning in, whether it be on the MSA Sports Network or 1320 AM WJAS. Cory, we have a great Week 1 matchup here. Two teams that made the postseason a year ago out of this Allegheny Nine Conference in the 5A classification. Upper St. Clair coming off of a loss last week to Steubenville. On the other side, North Hills prevailed in a Week 0 matchup against Shaler. The North Hills Indians have talked about doing better in the regular season, trying to get a better seed for the postseason. In your opinion, what's going to be key for North Hills' home victory here tonight?
Well, key is the start to the game. They come out with a fast start. I think that ultimately helps them in the long run. North Hills, let's face it, I mean, they really never got going last year against Upper St. Clair. Lost 28-7 in the opener. Sure, that was on the road. Now you get your first game here at home. Well, first conference game here at home, and I think that plays a lot. I mean, it's a good crowd here tonight at Martorelli Stadium. North Hills has to build off of that.
They have some talented players as well. Quarterback Will Hurt is back. Melvin Blanks had a big Week 0 performance as well. On the other side, Upper St. Clair, when you think of the Panthers, you think of their longtime head coach, Jim Render. It is season number 39 guiding the Panthers. He has all told 390 wins, the most in WPIAL history. He's looking to add to that total, and he should have a pretty good team, but there's a lot of youth on this squad, and maybe not the key size that they have typically along the offensive and defensive lines.
Yeah, maybe not. A little smaller, but they still have skilled players that they can build off of. Jack Hansberry will be the main one, the senior quarterback, that they really look to build off of him. But let's face it, I mean, Jim Render's team, known for running the football, pounding the football behind one of those big lines, and they don't have that this year. Maybe that affected them overall in that Week 0 performance. Colin McClendon, their starting running back, only ran for 35 yards on 9 carries. Look for that to change tonight. They're going to have to find ways to get on the outside, find ways to get the football into their skilled players' hands, and ultimately put points up on the board, because North Hills is pretty hungry on the other side.
When you look at this section, the Allegheny Nine Conference in 5A, some teams stand out. West Allegheny, the defending champs in the first ever 5A title game last year, defeating McKeesport in a thriller in overtime. Woodland Hills in playoff contention and title contention every year. But there's a real chance that those teams maybe aren't as good as what they were a year ago, Cory. So if you're Upper St. Clair, or particularly North Hills, you have to look at these early season matchups as an opportunity to really position yourself for not only the playoffs, but to get a good seed for the playoffs, because maybe West Allegheny and Woodland Hills aren't maybe the favorites in 5A.
And that's the outlook for North Hills. I mean, no doubt about it. Get yourself in the playoffs, but get yourself in a position to go further in the playoffs. I mean, they limped in as the 8th seed last year and lost 41-21 in that opening round to West Allegheny. West Allegheny has lost a good bit of players from that team last season, that season where West Allegheny won in that thriller over McKeesport, as you said, Sean, at Heinz Field. But Upper St. Clair 6-2 in the conference last year. North Hills 5-3. Maybe they each raise a game, win an extra game this season. And in doing that, this is a must-win game on each side.
We mentioned the victory for the Indians against Shaler. That was at Shaler last week, 45-17. On the other side, Upper St. Clair, well, is not as good of an outcome for the Panthers. They made the trek to Ohio, to Steubenville High School, and was a 30-point defeat, 37-7. The teams are out on the field here. We're just moments away from the opening kickoff, and we also want to mention that this game is the video spotlight game of the week. We want to thank Jess Levo back manning the camera, so you could either tune into the audio portion on the MSA Sports Network or on 1320 AM WJAS, or you can watch the live and archived video feed as well. And a beautiful night for it, Cory. It is maybe not typical September 1st temperature, but we have a great backdrop here, and it should be pretty good with rain coming maybe later this weekend, but tonight, clear skies.
Yeah, and I mean, rain won't start for quite some time, and we've got a great seat here, thanks to the people here at Martorelli Stadium for hooking us up right at center field here, right at the 50-yard line, and great view, great weather. Should be a good football game.
For those who are watching, the team on the near sidelines clad in red with white numbers, that is the North Hills Indians, as the captains head out to midfield. On the far side, Upper St. Clair will be donning the white jerseys with the black numbers and the black pants as they get just about set for the coin toss and the subsequent opening kickoff for these squads. Once again, these teams compete in the Allegheny Nine Conference. We mentioned West Allegheny as well as Woodland Hills, other teams that comprise this conference. Fox Chapel, a Fox's team that should be much better here in 2017. Moon, Baldwin, Chartiers Valley, and Hampton as well. 9 teams, only 4 will be making the postseason after the realignment in 2016 expanded the entire PIAA football to 6 classifications. And Upper St. Clair won the toss, will defer to North Hills, and the Indians elect to receive the opening kick. As we are just about set to begin week number 1 here in 2017, an exciting time always for high school football fans in the area and for really any fans of the MSA Sports Network to get another school year started. Glad to be still here on the air, bringing you these broadcasts. And Cory, I know you and I personally have talked about how much the MSA Sports Network has meant to us. Great opportunity to continue that here into the 2017-18 season and hopefully beyond.
Yeah, I mean, it just feels right to be in the position that we're in right now for week 1, and the type of football that, and not just football, but sports that we really are presented with in Western Pennsylvania in the WPIAL. It's a tremendous honor to be a part of the MSA Sports Network.
Certainly, I echo those sentiments as Upper St. Clair set to boot this one away. It'll be the junior Sean Martin wearing number 15 set to kick off a trio of players back to return for North Hills, including Melvin Blanks. And Blanks, he's a talented running back, but he also took a kickoff to the house last week as well for the Indians. Certainly a dangerous playmaker.
Blanks, 195 yards rushing last week. He will get the ball often. That was just on 20 carries. And I expect him to get right around that, if not more, tonight.
As we are underway, the kick is end over end, and it'll be fielded at the 8-yard line by the aforementioned Blanks. Has some running room beyond the 25. Now he spins back, stays on his feet, reverses field, and now he's going to try to cut back up the middle. Another spin move, and he's brought down. Actually ended up losing about 5 or 6 yards after he got to the 25. He will be tackled. It looks to be just shy of the 20, and that's where the first possession will take place for North Hills.
A little dangerous there, opening kickoff. Melvin Blanks, I mean, sure, he dodged about 3 or 4 tackles, but ultimately went backwards, as you said, Sean, and North Hills still with decent field position at their own 20. Big, important opening drive for the Indians.
And it will be right at the 20-yard line where North Hills will begin drive number 1. And they will do so with their quarterback, William Hurt, operating out of the shotgun. 1 receiver wide to each side. Excuse me, this is actually Brennan, the running back. He's got some running room as he gets beyond the 30. He's beyond the 50. No one in front of him. He's got an angle down the far sidelines, and he's going to find his way into the end zone. A trick play on the first play of the game. Tyler Brennan, 80 yards on the far sideline. 1 play and 1 score. What a start for North Hills.
Boy, I mean, you didn't even get a chance to say who was in the quarterback position, and already down the right sideline gone. That was just terrific blocking up front. There was a huge hole on that right side. Brennan hit it, and once he got that bounce outside, really no chance for any Panther defender to get in the way. I said big, important drive for North Hills. I don't know if you can script it any better than that.
24 seconds into this contest, North Hills holds a 6-0 lead, and they will look to extend it with Daniel Wagner on to boot the extra point try. It's a low snap at its handle. The kick is up, and that kick is good as Wagner splits the uprights. 24 seconds into this contest, it is 7-0 North Hills, with Upper St. Clair looking for its first drive. We'll step aside briefly. You're listening to and watching the Video Spotlight Game of the Week on the MSA Sports Network and here on 1320 AM WJAS. Gotcha. Thank you. score, courtesy of Tyler Brennan, as he took a Wildcat snap, was able to go down the far sidelines. The Indians, courtesy of the extra point, now up 7-0 as Wagner boots a low kick to the near sideline. This will bounce out of bounds. That'll be an illegal procedure penalty against the Indians, which will allow good starting field position for Upper St. Clair. Sean Meyers here on the call alongside Cory Campano on the MSA Sports Network and 1320 AM WJAS. Also the video spotlight game of the week, and Jess Levo helping us out in that regard. But Cory, this Upper St. Clair team needs to come up with an answer, because the Panthers certainly could be reeling after that 80-yard score.
Maybe what we talked about early on in that pregame, Sean, the line. I mean, they got pushed back up front on that one-play drive that Tyler Brennan housed. They'll have their opportunity on offense, but yeah, need an answer.
35-yard line is where the Panthers begin this drive as they go with a quarterback keeper on the first play. That's Jack Hansberry, and he's brought down after a short pickup. Garrett Fuchs in on the stop. That's going to go for about a 2-yard gain. It'll bring up 2nd and 8.
Jeff Gillespie in there as well, 33 from the weak side, just 2 yards. Not the quarterback keeper answer. And we saw one play go for North Hills, but this is a huge response chance here for the Panthers. They're going to go and gun again.
Hansberry last week, in part because of the sacks, was -21 on the rushing efforts as a man in motion, and that player will get the handoff, and that is Chris Patelis, as he is brought down after about a 1-yard pickup on the stop. Cameron Taylor, a very talented player, gets the tackle, and that'll bring up a 3rd and 7 scenario now for Upper St. Clair.
That's just a great job from Cam Taylor. Lined up at that strong safety spot. He flew in there all the way from the far side of the field to make that play. Pantelis, nowhere to go.
Hansberry work out of the gun. 2 receivers to the right, 2 to the left, a sidecar to his right as he looks to the near sideline. Pass is complete. That'll be a 1st down and more. On the reception, it is Pantelis, as he's able to get beyond midfield, forced out of bounds at about the 48-yard line in North Hills territory. So a good start to this game for the Panthers offensively as they complete that 3rd down attempt.
Nice little pitch and catch. It's Pantelis again. That went for 14 on that right sideline, and Pantelis he was bobbling it a little bit just as he got near the out of bounds line, and just got 2 hands on the football, ran out of bounds. Smart play, ball security.
48-yard line in North Hills territory where this play will take place from. As Hansberry hands off, McClendon gets the carry, gets to the 45-yard line, and then is stood up and driven back. So Colin McClendon gets his first carry of the game, and they're actually going to spot him shy of the 45, so call that one about a 2-yard gain. It'll bring up 2nd and 8.
Actually surprised, Sean, that it took that long to get McClendon a touch. I know that head coach Render wanted to see a little more productivity out of him this coming week. I thought that maybe he would get the first touch of the game, but nevertheless, North Hills clogs it up in the middle again.
2nd and 8, ball at the 46-yard line. 9:46 remaining in quarter number 1. It is quickly 7-0 in favor of the Indians. Shotgun formation with sidecars both ways for Hansberry. Now he looks, the pass is complete as that one just snuck through to Sapulio. Now he's got some running room down the far sideline, gets inside the 30, forced out around the 25-yard line as Dom Sapulio comes up with the 2nd completion of the game for Upper St. Clair, and it's another nice gainer.
Yeah, 21 yards, and boy, Hansberry, it didn't look like there was much of a window to throw that football. We had a great angle here, and that outside linebacker that pinched in for North Hills looked like he had a chance to take that all the way if he gets his hands on it, but nevertheless, ball in the right spot, and great run after the catch for Sapulio.
And that's one reason why having a quarterback with a strong arm is so important. If that was any later, could have been a pick 6, as we have a whistle and a timeout taken by North Hills, and we will take one as well. 9:31 remaining in quarter number 1. It is 7-0 in favor of the Indians, but Upper St. Clair driving. You're listening to 2017 WPIAL football. It's the video spotlight game of the week on the MSA Sports Network, and it's here on 1320 AM WJAS. 9:31 remaining, quarter number one. North Hills with a 7-0 lead for the homestanding Indians, but Upper St. Clair driving ball at the 25-yard line in North Hills territory. I'm Sean Meyers alongside Cory Campano. Jess Levo also filming this game for the MSA Sports Network as a video spotlight game of the week. The venue, Martorelli Stadium here in Westview for this Week 1 matchup in the Allegheny Nine Conference. 1st and 10 at the 25 as Hansberry will work out of the gun. He has 3 receivers to the right side, now sends a man in motion. 1 receiver split wide to the left. The handoff goes to McClendon, and he is brought down behind the line of scrimmage. That one was blown up for a big loss, Cory, as the North Hills defense showed some penetration.
Yeah, and it looked like from the far side that was Derek Mua, number 31, that got in there. It was actually 71, Jason Biswick, I'm sorry, and Biswick blew McClendon up for a 3-yard loss. Just nowhere for McClendon to go.
2nd and long now at the 28-yard line for the Panthers. Now 9 minutes remaining in this opening stanza. Hansberry fakes the handoff, now throws down the field. The pass is tipped and falls incomplete outside of the numbers on the far sideline. Now he was looking for Jesse Farah, and the junior not able to hang on. The pass was a little high. That'll bring up a 3rd and long. 13 yards to go for the Panthers.
Another tight window there for Hansberry to throw in, and the ball sailed on him just a bit. Farah a little upset with himself he didn't pull that in, but that was a tough catch.
North Hills scored on its first offensive drive of this game. Upper St. Clair looking to answer. 3 receivers to the near side for Hansberry, out of the gun sidecar to the right as he's going to roll to the right. He's got plenty of time. Now he airs one out deep down the near sidelines. That pass incomplete. He was trying to connect with Tom Kyle, but the senior not able to catch up to it as it falls incomplete. That'll bring up 4th down, and Cory at the 28-yard line with 13 yards to go. Maybe not an easy decision here for Jim Render.
Not an easy decision for Upper St. Clair. How about the timeout call from Pat Carey? I mean, that big completion. You got 1st and 10 from the 25. They've went -3 in 3 plays since. That's an answer for the North Hills Indians. That's a great use of a timeout there in the first quarter by Pat Carey.
Looks like the offense will stay on the field as Hansberry again will operate out of the shotgun. 3 receivers to the far side, 1 to the near side in the form of Kyle. Sidecar to the right as well. Now it's a screen pass. The pass is complete over the middle, as this is going to be a nice gainer as McClendon gets near 1st down yardage, but he's going to be stopped a little bit shy, it appears.
I don't think he got there.
We'll see where they mark this. It's close as it's down to about the 16-yard line in that vicinity. Looked like he needed to get to the 15. North Hills celebrating, and the Indians get the stop. It'll be a turnover on downs. So a pretty lengthy opening drive for Upper St. Clair yields nothing. And with 8:38 remaining, North Hills takes over for the 2nd time.
Love the play call from Upper St. Clair. They knew that North Hills was going to bring the pressure. How do you answer that? With a little bubble screen. That was Sapulio that caught it over the middle. And a great effort after the catch. Again, them yak yards are racking up for Dom Sapulio, but North Hills knew that they couldn't give up 13, just gave up 12 and survived.
16-yard line is where North Hills begins this drive. As this time it will be Hurt, the quarterback, working out of the gun, sidecar to his right. Hurt will hand it off to Blanks as he runs to the left side. Not much running room. He's able to get 2, maybe 3 yards before he's brought down on his first attempt of this game. They will spot it at the 19-yard line, so call that a pickup of 3. That makes it 2nd and 7.
Big win for the Panthers there to not let yourself be even more affected by that one-play 80-yard drive the first time around for North Hills. They clogged the hole there on Melvin Blanks.
2nd and 7, ball on the 19-yard line. Just over 8 minutes remaining in quarter number 1. Hurt out of a pistol formation with the back in the form of Blanks behind him. Now he sends a man in motion. He will hand off to Blanks, who takes it to the right side, trying to break to the outside, and he's free. He's got some running room. There's a flag down, a big block. Blanks gets near the 40-yard line, but Cory, it looks like this one could be coming back.
Yeah, maybe a block in the back just outside that right hash. See Melvin Blanks' ability skill-wise to just bounce that outside. There were some Panthers in the backfield. Blanks turned that into positive yardage, but maybe where he got that step was because of a hold or block in the back, as the officials discuss it now.
And the flag is down right at the 20-yard line.
Yeah, they're talking to Jim Render on the far sideline, so this clearly against North Hills.
That'll negate a nice run there by Blanks. Blanks could be one of the more electric players in the entire 5A classification, as we have quite a lengthy discussion here before any official word is given. Beautiful night under the lights here in Westview. Sean Meyers and Cory Campano on the call in this week 1 matchup, and they will call the penalty. There's actually 2 infractions against North Hills. The first one declined, the second one a holding accepted. And as a result, this will really back the Indians up deep in their own territory.
And where was that flag thrown? And obviously that was the questioning to Jim Render on which penalty to accept. That's all the way back to the 10.
So it'll bring up a 2nd and 16 now for North Hills. The Indians wasted little time getting on the board. An 80-yard touchdown in their first offensive play, courtesy of Tyler Brennan. As 2 men move in motion from the right side of the scrimmage to the left for North Hills. Now a handoff as Blanks looking for some running room. And again, he finds some room on the near side. He's free beyond the 30, beyond the 35-yard line. That'll be a first down pickup for Melvin Blanks. He is explosive as he gets forced out of bounds just shy of the 40.
Melvin Blanks, a big burst for 27. All the way up to the 37-yard line. And again, I think he had a step if McClendon didn't take a great angle to make that tackle. Explosive, the correct word that you used there, Sean. I mean, it didn't look like that was that big of a hole, and Blanks just found some room.
It'll be the pistol formation this time with Blanks lined up behind the quarterback, William Hurt. 3 receivers to the right side. They give it to Blanks, or excuse me, this time it's Cam Taylor, and Taylor was brought down almost immediately, as they will call that one a no-gainer on the stop for Upper St. Clair, James DeLulis.
Yeah, Cam Taylor, they like to get him the ball in space. That time tried to give him that little stretch play to get out to the right side. Good pursuit defensively by the Panthers. North Hills, you notice too, Sean, they've got that 7-point lead. They're really in no hurry to keep getting up to the football, like to take their time and call the right play.
Pat Carey guiding the Indians. It's his 5th year at the helm. He'd been a long-time assistant for Jack McCurry before taking over. Now we have a flag thrown before the snap, and it looks like this one might be against North Hills, as some of the Panthers clapping their hands.
Legal procedure against North Hills. Just really a careless penalty, but we see a lot of that in early parts of the season.
Still unacceptable if you're Pat Carey, as he has his arms up in the air looking for an explanation. So that'll make it a 2nd and 15 now.
I think it was just that the guard and tackle on the right side of the line were too deep. They were lined up too deep, close to their own quarterback.
The signal caller, William Hurt, will operate out of the gun. Sidecar to his left, 2 receivers to the right. Now sends a man in motion, and he will hand off, and that play goes nowhere. It's a big loss. That time on the handoff, it was Brennan. He had success the first time he touched the football, not so much the second time, as he's driven back all the way to the 28-yard line, and that's going to make it 3rd and nearly 20 yards to go now for the Indians.
235-pound junior Jeremy Frank shot into the backfield to make that stop. 3rd and long now for the Indians. Best pursuit so far for the Panthers, and Jeremy Frank was in there early.
I call it 19 yards to go from the 28. 5.5 now remaining in quarter number 1. I'm Sean Meyers alongside Cory Campano. 2 receivers to the right side. Instead, it's a handoff to Melvin Blanks. Blanks takes it to the near sideline, but he's driven out prior to getting to the 35. So that time the Indians just go with a safe play and live to punt this one away.
Yeah, maybe just try and see if Blanks can break a couple tackles and go. Other than that, they didn't want to force anything. Nice job by the Panthers there. Force that turnover, and they'll get the ball back. Just about 5 minutes here in the first quarter.
Back to punt for North Hills. It's Wagner. He does both the punting and kicking for the Indians. He's standing at his 20-yard line. It is a high spinning kick that'll be fielded at the 35-yard line by Tom Kyle. And Kyle was brought down almost immediately as he got a yard, maybe 2 on the return out to about the 37-yard line.
Yeah, Derek Austell, the man in there on the special teams play. That was kind of a dangerous catch there by Tom Kyle. I expected the fair catch to come, as that was not a very deep punt, and Kyle had to come up about 5 or 6 yards to make that catch, but he did secure the football and good field position for the Panthers.
I'm going to let you know that coming up at the half, it's the MSA Sports Halftime Show. This week, Don Rebel and the Post-Gazette's Mike White look ahead at the WPIAL teams to watch here in the 2017 football season. 37-yard line is where Upper St. Clair begins drive number 2, with Hansberry handing off as this one goes to McClendon up the middle. He powers his way near the 45. We'll spot him at the 44, but a nice first down pickup for the junior running back.
Yeah, Colin McClendon gets 7 there, and really he was touched after about a gain of 2. Carried a couple defenders with him. Good north-south runner is Colin McClendon. Showed it that time.
That'll bring up a 2nd down and 3 scenario for the Panthers. Going left to right as we see it in the white jerseys. Now under center is the signal caller Hansberry with the back behind him. He will hand it off, and that yields maybe about a 2-yard pickup. Again to McClendon, and that'll bring up a 3rd and very short. Looks to be less than a yard now for the Panthers.
Looks like Brandon Manning was the one to come in on that far linebacker position to make the play.
Checking into the game now, Jason Heinauer for North Hills. Michael Toten, the big boy, 335 pounds, runs off. 3rd and 1 for Upper St. Clair. Ball at the 46-yard line as we're at the 3:25 remaining mark of quarter number 1. North Hills holding a 7-0 lead. Hansberry out of the gun, fakes the handoff, tries to take it himself, lunges forward, extended the football. I don't think he got there, Cory, despite his best efforts. And that will bring up a 4th down.
That was a great spot by the far official to run in and see. I mean, Hansberry is complaining that he reached the ball out, but his knee was down a yard back. I don't think the ball was even stretched out yet by the time that he was down. And I don't know, do you go for this early, Sean?
Well, it looks like the answer is no for Upper St. Clair, as the punt team will make its way onto the field. Dom Sapolio set to boot this one away. It was a 4th and 1, but the ball at the 46-yard line, as Sapolio has all day to punt this one away, and it's a kick angle towards the far sidelines. Will land out of bounds, and we'll see where the official spots it. It's going to be the 31-yard line where North Hills will take over. And thus far, the Indians have done a pretty nice job defensively. Gave up a lot of yardage on that opening drive, but they were able to first force the turnover on downs, and this time a 3-and-out for Upper St. Clair.
And officially, that's a 19-yard punt. So not exactly the change of field position you were looking for after not going for it on a short 4th down. But to be honest, I like the call by Jim Render there to trust your defense. It's so early. It's just 7-0. Not push your button so early.
Now Hurt will work out of the pistol formation with the back behind him. The handoff goes to that back blanks as he cuts to the outside, to the far side, makes a man miss, shows some strength, but he's only able to get about 2 yards out of it as he gets out to the 33, maybe the 34. Nonetheless, that's still an impressive run by the very talented senior.
You can just tell whenever Melvin Blanks touches the football, he has no idea in his mind that he's going to make at least one person miss. He just doesn't want to go down, no matter the cost. He turned that into a 3-yard gain.
As a result, that makes it 2nd and 7, just over 2 minutes left in quarter number 1. I want to thank you for tuning in, whether you're watching courtesy of the Video Spotlight Game of the Week here on the MSA Sports Network or listening on 1320 AM WJAS. 2nd and 7, again the pistol formation for the Indians as Hurt sends a man in motion. He fakes the handoff, now will look to throw his first pass, and it's intercepted at the 45-yard line. That one was picked off. Matt Kissinger was able to read that one, and it was a high throw, Cory. As a result, we have the first turnover of this contest.
Well, I mean, you could say it. Will Hurt feet were not set, not planted. He threw that a little off his back foot and to the opposite side of his body as well. Caused that pass to sail, and Matt Kissinger, the safety, was the man in the position to get that turnover, and that is a big one for Upper St. Clair. That punt doesn't even matter now. It's like you're back on that same drive.
The 38-yard line and plus territory is the starting spot for the Panthers. 3 receivers to the near side. Hansberry fakes the handoff, takes it himself, powers across the 35-yard line. That's where they'll spot him for a 3-yard pickup on first down. And when that decision was made to punt the football, Corey, the Panthers did not have momentum. Now they certainly do, and they'd love to get some points and preferably tie this one up on this drive.
No doubt about it. And I mean, what better way to do that right there? I mean, Kissinger, that's the type of play where even a simple run before where you had Melvin Blanks probably for a loss, he ends up squirting out for 3 yards. Very next play, you cause an interception.
Pistol formation with Hansberry working out of the gun. McClendon behind him. 3 receivers to the near side, 1 to the far side. He fakes the handoff again. Now he drops back, and he smoked a big quarterback sack. Unblocked Jeff Gillespie as he blew up that play, and that's a big loss with under a minute left in quarter number 1.
Big time hit there, Jeff Gillespie. That'll get the crowd going, trying to force that momentum back on the Indian side of the football. Big time hit on the quarterback, blind side. Hansberry never saw him, and as you said, Sean, he was never touched.
That is a blindside sack right there that brings up a 3rd and 14 as the time continues to tick off the clock in quarter number 1. It's 7-0 North Hills. Panthers driving, but now facing quite a conversion attempt. Under center is Hansberry. He'll just hand it off to McClendon, who takes up the middle, makes a man miss, still on his feet across the 35, but he'll be brought down at the 34, well shy of the first down mark. It'll bring up 4th down and another decision for head coach Jim Render, but he will have some time to think about it as the final seconds tick off the clock in quarter number 1. 7-0 North Hills over Upper St. Clair. You're listening to and watching the Video Spotlight Game of the Week here on the MSA Sports Network, and it's also broadcast on 1320 AM WJAS. Here, Martorelli Stadium in Westview, the home of the North Hills Indians, and the home team holding a 7-0 lead. It is 4th and 6 for Upper St. Clair at the 34-yard line in Indians territory as Hansberry takes the snap. He's going to roll to the right side, throw a pass. That pass incomplete as he was looking to connect that time with Jesse Farah. Couldn't find his man, and as a result, Corey, the 2nd time the Panthers have turned it over on downs.
Yep, pressure on that right side. Hansberry rolling to a strong side of his body, that right side. But 32, the sophomore Damon Thompson, 6-foot, 200-pounder, was in there on that right side. Got a good hit on Hansberry. And that throw, just a little low, not catchable. But, again, I like that call by Jim Render. I think in that spot of the field, Sean, you go for that.
That's Cory Campano. I'm Sean Meyers here on this audio and video broadcast of this Week 1 matchup. North Hills now takes over on the 34-yard line as they will go to a wildcat formation here. Hurt not in the game. The snap goes directly to Blanks as he goes to the near side, makes 2 players miss. Now he has the corners beyond the 50, forced out of bounds at about the 45-yard line in Upper St. Clair territory. He was pushed out by McClendon, but another nice pickup for the running back for the Indians.
22 for Melvin Blanks. That strong stiff arm. You saw 2 of them. He kind of eluded the first man, stiff arm the corner. Gotta like that wildcat formation. It gets the ball into Melvin Blank's hands earlier, and if the blocking up front is like that for the Indians, that's going to be a strong case to go away from that.
That same formation accounted for the only score this game. It was the first play from scrimmage, an 80-yard touchdown by Tyler Brennan. That's where we stand right now. Ball at the 44. Now it goes to Blanks again out of the wildcat. This time he takes it the opposite way to the left side. Ran into, I believe, one of his own blockers at the 45. That's where he'll be spotted, so it'll go for a 1-yard loss for Blanks. It'll bring up a 2nd and 11.
Yeah, big Lirion Mertuzzi right in front of him on the pole, number 61, and Blanks kind of ran him over, but unfortunately it was behind the line of scrimmage.
Ball at the 45-yard line for North Hills. We are just seconds into quarter number 2 in this week 1 matchup. Upper St. Clair, North Hills, a pair of playoff teams from a year ago out of the 5A Allegheny Nine Conference. Now Hurt returns to the game at quarterback. He will operate out of the gun, sidecar to his left, 2 receivers to the left as well. He will hand it off to Cam Taylor. Taylor gets a couple yards before contact, now powers his way forward near the 40-yard line. But it'll still be a 3rd and long, about 7-8 yards to go, maybe even 9 yards depending on the spot for the Indians.
Jack Burton made the stop in the middle for Upper St. Clair and came out of there with the football. He was trying to convince the official that that was a fumble and he had it, but there was no way for the near judge to tell if that ball was out before Taylor went to the ground or not.
They give Taylor credit for 3 yards on that carry. That makes it a 3rd and 8 scenario. Ball at the 42-yard line in Panthers territory. If you were watching this game, North Hills wearing the red jerseys with the white numbers, going left to right. The Panthers in the white jerseys with the black numbers and black pants playing defense, as we have a flag that comes in from the judge behind the play on the offensive side. He saw a false start against the Indians. That'll make a 3rd and 11, a 3rd and 8 all the more difficult. It's now 3rd and 13.
North Hills has moved the football more efficiently, Sean, but so far 3 penalties for a total of 20 yards to Upper St. Clair, no penalties. And then on the other side, turnover-wise, you had that interception from Will Hurt. Still clean football in terms of turnovers for Upper St. Clair. Just some things that have factored into this score remaining 7-0.
47-yard line is the line of scrimmage for the Indians. Hurt out of the gun with a sidecar to his left and 3 receivers to the left side. He's going to look that direction. Now he has got plenty of time in the pocket. Now he's going to roll to the right side, throws a pass, and that one out of bounds. No chance for the intended target to haul in that one. He was looking for Cam Taylor's good coverage that time by Upper St. Clair's Tom Kyle. Brings up a 4th down.
Not only Tom Kyle, but really the entire secondary. I mean, Will Hurt went through his entire progression on that sequence. Looked left for the first read, up the middle for the second, 3rd for the tight end to the right wasn't there, and then he had the roll right. Just nothing open, and it's going to force a punt for the Indians.
Cory, Will Hurt was awfully good a year ago. He has not gotten it done through the air in the early going of this game.
No, not at all. Just 2 passes, and one of them was intercepted.
Wagner's punt high in the air. It'll be a fair catch. Signal for it about the 18-yard line by the aforementioned Tom Kyle, and that's where the Panthers will take over.
Reminder that some of the top athletes in the WPIAL are featured every week on the MSA Sports Center stage, which you can view on our YouTube page. Log on to our website this fall at www.msasports.net and check out which athletes we are talking to, plus our weekly game lights are also now featured here on the MSA Sports Network.
A lot of great content on the YouTube page for the MSA Sports Network. As the Upper St. Clair Panthers begin this drive on the 18-yard line. So far, the possessions have ended in turnover on downs, a punt, and a turnover on downs for USC. As Hansberry fakes the handoff, now he's going to drop back. He has all day in the pocket, airs this one out to the near side. That passes over the intended target, and a flag comes in late. That one could be pass interference. Dom Sapulio was the would-be recipient of that pass, wasn't able to catch up it immediately. Cory, he was looking for a flag, and finally he gets one.
And the craziest part about that is the official looking right at the play here on the near sideline did not throw it. It came from all the way across the field on the Upper St. Clair sideline, that judge, and it looked more of like a hold to me prior to the pass getting there. And that's what they're going to call. I mean, and that was the right call, Sean. There was definitely contact there before the ball was there.
Remember, unlike the NFL, if it is a pass interference, even if it's 50 yards down the field, it'll still just be the traditional yardage on the penalty. But
yeah, it's just a hold, so 10 yards.
We've seen a lot of penalties go against North Hills in the early going of this contest. 9:24 left in quarter number 2. The homestanding Indians holding a 7-0 lead, but the ball now at the 28-yard line for the Panthers. And Hansberry out of the gun will have 2 receivers to both the near and far sides, a sidecar to his right as well. Drops back, has more time to pass. This time he finds his intended target. That is Tom Kyle on the far sidelines. Kyle gets about a 5-yard pickup. Was able to spin off and maybe get an extra yard or so. As he gets near the 35, they'll call it the 34.
So gain of 6 for Kyle, just a little out route quickly, setting up Upper St. Clair, and that time really ticking in this second quarter. Upper St. Clair would like to put the points on the board before halftime.
The sky nearly completely dark now, just after 8 o'clock. 2nd and 4, ball on the 34-yard line. This time the handoff goes to McClendon up the middle. Not able to get the first down pickup, but able to get across the 35 out to about the 37-yard line. It'll make it a 3rd and manageable.
Gain of 3, Alex Glatz, senior linebacker, in there on the stop for the Indians. Now a big 3rd down upcoming, and again that 3rd down substitution for North Hills, where they send in Jason Heinauer to try and clog that middle.
On the other side, Matt Kissinger checks out of the game for the Panthers. It is a 3rd and 1, ball at the 37-yard line. Hansberry, the quarterback, out of the gun, looks to the far side, pass is complete, and that'll be a 1st down pickup. Coming up with that one, Tom Kyle, who's been one of his favorite targets in this contest. Not a big gainer there, Cory, but just enough good recognition both by Hansberry and Kyle knowing where they needed to get.
Oh, absolutely. Just need a yard, and I like the play to not run up the middle there. I think North Hills was geared for that. Throw it to the outside for a pickup of 4.
41-yard line now, the line of scrimmage for the Panthers, as they will operate out of the pistol formation, 2 receivers each way. Looks like maybe some early movement, but no flags on the play. This handoff goes to the right side. They stop at about the 44-yard line, as again it was McClendon on the carry.
McClendon's just kind of having a rough go right now, Sean. I mean, his long gainer is 8 yards on the night. He's carried the ball 7 times and 8 yards. His longest carry. North Hills doing a nice job to quiet his evening thus far.
Pickup of about 4 yards for McClendon. 7:16 remaining in quarter number 2. We have just one score. It came on the first play from scrimmage for North Hills. Out of the gun now is the quarterback. Hansberry's pass is complete over the middle. Stopped shy of midfield. However, that time was the receiver, Sapulio, and it'll bring up another 3rd down. We see a lot of West Coast style offense. Short, quick passes for Upper St. Clair. They've connected, but very methodical drive on this possession.
Yeah, it's going to be 3rd and 3 now, so that one only went for 3 yards on the completion of Sapulio, his 3rd catch of the night to lead the receivers for Upper St. Clair. But love the West Coast call you said there, Sean, because that's exactly what it is. They don't want Hansberry to get hit. They want him to get rid of the ball as quickly as possible.
Hansberry has been very active in the passing game, way more than his counterpart Hurt, as it's a 3rd and 3 scenario, ball at the 48 for the Panthers. He drops back to pass. This pass incomplete. Looked like maybe he was in between targets, as diving to try to come back was Farah, and somewhat pulling his arms in was Sapulio, thinking maybe he wasn't the intended target. Nonetheless, it hits the turf and brings up 4th down.
And again, it's another tough call. I would probably send on the punting unit. That's what Jim Render's going to do. I mean, they just can't risk it right now, Sean. It's still a 1-score game.
Again, Render certainly has the accolades not to be second-guessed in a scenario like this. 390 career wins, most in WPIAL history, as he does call on the punt team. And this one will be booted away from the 40-yard line. It is a high spiraling punt that'll hit just inside the 20. Doesn't do much on the bounce, and it'll be down at about the 17-yard line by the Panthers.
Nice punt there from Sapulio. Good change of field position there. Got it to sit down, too. Coverage was excellent for Upper St. Clair. Now they've got to try and make another stand defensively. But, Sean, I mean, what is it going to take here for Will Hurt to get going? This is not the Will Hurt from last year.
Yeah, he has yet to hurt this defense of the Panthers. Fortunately for North Hills, the running back attack has done just fine, with Blanks leading the way, and of course the big 80-yard scamper by Brennan out of the Wildcat formation to open this game. 17-yard line is where the 5th possession for the Indians will begin. 6:06 on the stop clock, quarter number 2. Hurt out of the gun, sidecars both ways. He has 2 receivers to the near side. He hands off as this inside hitter goes for a short gain. I believe that was Cam Taylor, and indeed it was on the 1-yard pickup, maybe 2.
Yeah, they
still
give him
shy of the
two.
20. Yep.
Sapolio, good show of sportsmanship there. Came in to make the tackle and then helped Cam Taylor to his feet. Always love seeing that. Little misdirection there. Thought it maybe would go to Melvin Blanks, but they want to get Taylor touches as well.
You are watching and listening to the Video Spotlight Game of the Week here on the MSA Sports Network and 1320 AM WJAS. I'm Sean Meyers alongside Cory Campano. Martorelli Stadium, the venue. 2nd and 8 now for the home-standing Indians. They hold a 7-0 lead over Upper St. Clair. Hurt hands it off. Blanks makes the first man miss. Flag comes in. Strong running by Blanks just to get beyond the original line of scrimmage, but this one might be coming back depending on which way this call goes.
You know, it came late and deep into the backfield, so most likely against that offensive line again of North Hills.
Spotted the ball at the 22. Looks like it'll back up the Indians. And indeed it will go against North Hills.
Call there was they looked at Jim Render to see, do you want to accept that and make it 2nd and near 18, or would you like 3rd and about 6? And not only did he accept it to make it 3rd and 18, but you push it inside North Hills' own 10.
And the ball is officially spotted at the 9-yard line for the Indians. Clock continues to tick. Just over 5 minutes remaining in this opening half. Hurt out of the gun, sends a man in motion. And we have a whistle as he was looking to hand it off on the jet sweep to Tyler Brennan, but that play once again will be negated as we have another flag come in.
North Hills already with 5 penalties in this game. Could be their 6th right here.
That is something that the Indians certainly will have to clean up going forward to be successful. It does go against North Hills. It is a false start.
Yeah, that's just not something that head coach Pat Carey is going to be happy about. Started this drive at their own 17, now all the way back to their own 5.
Coach Carey was awfully fun to talk to for me earlier this week. He was a former North Hills player, played on the national championship team as deemed by USA Today back in 1987 under Jack McCurry. 2nd and 23 now facing the Indians as Hurt with his feet in the end zone takes the snap, hands it off to Blanks, makes a couple players miss up the middle, still on his feet, able to get to about the 10-yard line, so that should be a 6-yard pickup. And it seems like every time he gets a handoff, Cory, he's making at least one, if not multiple players miss.
Yeah, really since the start of the ball game, Upper St. Clair's done a nice job up front to create pressure. And, you know, if you're North Hills, you need a running back that's going to escape those kind of hits. Melvin Blanks is elusive as they come, but I don't think that running play here is going to get you a first down, Sean.
3rd and 17 for North Hills. Now just 4 minutes remaining in quarter number 2. It is still 7-0 in favor of the Indians over Upper St. Clair in this conference opener. Hurt out of the pistol formation. He will hand it off this time to Taylor. Taylor takes it to the far side, has some running room, trying to make a man miss, gets beyond the 20, and will be forced out of bounds. And Cam Taylor continues to do a nice job, but the punting team will be called upon now for North Hills to boot this one away.
Yeah, needed 17, and Cam Taylor turned that into an 11-yard gain at the very least. That gets you out of your own sorts and across the 20, so a little room for Dan Wagner to punt this now.
Out of the proverbial shadows of their own goalposts. So it will be Wagner to boot this one away. He's standing at his 6-yard line. It's a high snap, but he's able to corral a good job there, and it is a deep punt that will be fielded right at the 50-yard line. Fair catch signaled by Tom Kyle, and that's where the Panthers will take over. So all things considered, that could have been much worse for the home team, Cory.
Really could have, and a nice job by Wagner, not only to get the punt away, but that snap, I mean, a couple inches higher, that's probably out of the back of the end zone for a safety. I like the job by Tom Kyle as well for Upper St. Clair to just corral the football. You're at midfield, no reason to try and make a play there. You've got 3.5 minutes left. Fair catch, ball security.
The Panthers started one drive on the plus side of the field. That was at the 38-yard line after an interception. Could not get any points out of it. Now Upper St. Clair starts this drive at the 50. Hansberry out of the gun. 3 receivers to the left side. He's going to roll that way. Now throw back across his body. It's tipped, nearly intercepted, but that pass falls to the turf. That one was well read by North Hills.
Jeff Gillespie again on that weak side, came in from the linebacker spot and got his hands on it. Dangerous, dangerous pass there for Upper St. Clair.
That'll bring up a 2nd and 10 scenario as our videographer Jess Levo puts the jacket on this chilly September night. Temperatures in the 50s for most of the day. Ball right at midfield for USC. This is another pistol formation. Hansberry fakes the handoff. Now he has all day to fire. He's got a man open, wide over the middle. The pass is complete as inside the 10-yard line, Tom Kyle. He was immediately tackled that time by Garrett Fuchs, but a big completion of more than 40 yards, and that's the biggest play of the game for Upper St. Clair to this point.
And that is a big time momentum shifter. What a ball by Jack Hansberry, but what a grab by Kyle. I mean, Fuchs was all over him. That was great coverage, but that ball was perfectly placed. Only Kyle could catch that. He did a great job to reel it in and secure it for a nice 43-yard gain and a 1st and goal for the Panthers.
Down to the 7-yard line. The Panthers trailing 7-0, but certainly threatening here. Hansberry out of the gun, sidecars to both his right and left. He's going to take himself up the middle. He's got some running room, lunges forward. He'll be stopped just shy of the goal line as he gets down to the 1. It'll bring up a 2nd and goal with less than a yard to go for Upper St. Clair.
Upper St. Clair. Sean, we've seen it on each side now. Really just one big play on each side, and you see what it can do. Upper St. Clair looking to punch this in and tie the ball game.
2:45 remaining in quarter number 2. I'm Sean Meyers alongside Cory Campano here on the Video Spotlight Game of the Week. North Hills hosting Upper St. Clair. They call it the 2-yard line as Hansberry goes under center. Now we have a whistle and a timeout taken by North Hills. We'll take one as well. It's 7-0 for now in favor of the Indians over the Panthers. It's 2017 WPIAL Football, the Video Spotlight Game of the Week on the MSA Sports Network and on 1320 AM WJAS. In Westview, Martorelli Stadium, it is 7-0 in favor of North Hills, but Upper St. Clair threatening with a 2nd and goal. Ball at the 2-yard line. Want to remind you quickly that coming up at the half, it's the MSA Sports Halftime Show. This week, Don Rebel and the Post-Gazette's Mike White look ahead at WPIAL teams to watch here in the 2017 football season. Golden opportunity for the Panthers. They've been held off the board to this point, but now facing a 2nd and goal scenario. Hansberry was under center when the timeout was taken. Now he will operate out of the gun in a pistol formation with the back behind him and one to his right. He hands off to McClendon up the middle, trying to power his way in. Don't think he got there, and they're going to say he's just shy of the end zone. It'll bring up a 3rd and short.
That ball was actually placed on the 2, and McClendon got to the 1. Definitely did not get in. Big 3rd down here. Can the Indians hold?
You would think this would certainly be 4-down territory for Upper St. Clair.
Yeah, I don't think there's any question of that.
Twice the Panthers have turned it over on downs. It is 3rd and goal, ball at the 1. Hansberry again will operate out of the gun, sidecars each way. He's going to take it himself forward, lunges into the end zone, and Upper St. Clair's on the board. A 1-yard jumping touchdown for the quarterback, Hansberry.
With 1:52 remaining before the half, that's a gut punch to the North Hills Indians and their home crowd here as they are silenced. Upper St. Clair with a beautiful drive that started at the 50-yard line, highlighted by that big 43-yard catch from Kyle.
This has been a defensive contest thus far as the Panthers now looking to deadlock this game on the extra point attempt. Sean Martin on to boot it. It's a high kick, and it clanks off of the scoreboard. It is good. We are tied 7-7 between North Hills and Upper St. Clair. We'll step aside. You're listening to and watching the Video Spotlight Game of the Week here on the MSA Sports Network and on 1320 AM WJAS. Sean Meyers and Cory Campano here on the call. As Upper St. Clair deadlocks it courtesy of a 1-yard touchdown by the signal caller Jack Hansberry. Now Martin set to boot it away. 3 players back right at the 10-yard line for North Hills. Martin approaches and kicks it. It is a high kick that bounces at the 7-yard line. Will be picked up there by Blanks as he tries to go up the middle. Stays on his feet initially, but is brought down at the 16-yard line with 1:47 remaining. That's where the Indians will try to take over and once again regain the lead.
Great coverage there on the kick, too. Dom Sapolio, we've said his name a ton tonight. Stops North Hills with not much room to go. Melvin Blanks don't want to give him any room at all, but a great answer by Upper St. Clair, Sean. And now time for them to hold. Don't let the big play happen. There's a 1:47 left, and North Hills has just 1 timeout.
Speaking of big plays, that's how this game started offensively for North Hills. An 80-yard touchdown run by Brennan put the home team in front, but after a lot of exchanging of the football, Upper St. Clair finally pulled even. Now Hurt works out of the pistol formation. 2 receivers to the far side for the North Hills signal caller. Instead, he hands off right up the middle by Blanks. Now Blanks breaks it to the near side. Was able to elude a couple tackles. Still on his feet past the 25. Brought down past the 30-yard line. But once again, Melvin Blanks with an impressive carry. First down yardage.
That left stiff arm. 2 of them again in his own backfield. Then 3 yards down the field. Got another one. Turned that into a 14-yard gain.
It's a good start to the drive for North Hills as the clock continues to run. Now down to a 1.5 minutes left in quarter number 2. Both these teams playoff qualifiers in 2016. Want to get off to a good conference start here in 2017. Hurt out of the gun, has 2 receivers to the left side, a sidecar to the left as well. He hands off to that player, which is Blanks, takes it up the middle, now tries dancing and cutting back inside, able to get maybe 3 yards on that first down carry out to the 33, maybe a little bit beyond the 33, and we have a player slow to get up now for North Hills.
Player down and now getting, I think, just the wind knocked out of him. That was Melvin Blanks, so good thing that he hopped up for North Hills. North Hills has to have a little bit more sense of urgency, though, with 1:04 left on the clock and still in their own territory.
And he will have to exit the game for at least 1 play, although it looks as though he will try to come back in as soon as he's eligible. Now 1 minute remaining with the quarterback Hurt back in the huddle. Will Hurt has been quiet in this contest. He will operate out of the gun here. 2 receivers to the far side, sidecar to the left of him as well. Takes a snap, hands off inside to Cam Taylor. Taylor with a nice little burst, able to get beyond the 35, but shy of the first down sticks. And with the clock continuing to run, it looks like, Cory, North Hills might be content here, taking this 7-7 game into the half.
Yeah, Pat Carey is kind of just slowly talking to his quarterback, Hurt. I don't think they're going to even try and get a playoff here, Sean.
17 seconds on the running clock. Touchdown in the first quarter for North Hills. Upper St. Clair responded in kind here in quarter number 2. Now down to the final 6 seconds. We'll see if the Indians decide to snap the football. They will not, as the clock shows all zeros. as the team's about to head into the locker room for halftime. After the first 2 quarters of play, we are deadlocked. Upper St. Clair, North Hills, 7 points apiece. We'll step aside. We'll be back with our thoughts on the first half. It's the 2017 WPIAL football season. It's the Video Spotlight Game of the Week on the MSA Sports Network and on 1320 AM WJAS. And we are tied 7-7 between North Hills and Upper St. Clair. I'm Sean Meyers alongside Cory Campano here on the call. It's the Video Spotlight Game of the Week on the MSA Sports Network. I want to thank our skilled, as always, videographer Jess Levo for the nice work that she does, and also this game being broadcast on 1320 AM WJAS. Thus far, Cory, through the first half, it's been a good one as these teams, as we expected, pretty competitive and pretty even.
Yeah, pretty even, obviously, on the scoreboard with it being 7-all, even in the stat column as well. We could start it off with the scoring recap, though. Literally, it's just been two big plays on each side. Other than that, momentum has shifted so many different times.
And the scoring recap in quarter number one, it took just 24 seconds for North Hills to get on the board. The first play from scrimmage, Tyler Brennan, an 80-yard run out of the Wildcat into the end zone. The extra point by Daniel Wagner was good. That made it 7-0 in favor of North Hills. That was all the scoring until less than 2 minutes left in the opening half. 1:52 remaining in that second quarter. Signal caller Jack Hansberry, a 1-yard QB keeper up the middle. The extra point by Sean Martin was good. And that's where we stand now, 7-7. Not a lot of scoring to speak of. Cory, what did the stats say?
In the stat column, we have total rushing yards for North Hills, 181. Total rushing yards for Upper St. Clair, 129. Total passing yards for North Hills, 0. Did not complete a pass in the first half. Upper St. Clair, 103 passing yards. And I'm sorry, I misspoke. It was 29, not 129 on the ground for Upper St. Clair. So total is 181 yards for North Hills, all on the ground, to 132 yards total for Upper St. Clair. Some numbers to keep in mind: 10 carries for 84 yards for Melvin Blanks in that first half. Brennan had the 2 for 76, the 80-yard run, and he got stopped for -4. In the passing game, 0 of 2 for Will Hurt in that 1 interception. That was the lone turnover in the first half. Jack Hansberry was 7 of 12 for a total of 103 yards. And again, the turnovers, 1 for North Hills, none for USC thus far. Big number that jumps out, though, in the stats are the penalties. North Hills, 6 penalties for a total of 45 yards. Upper St. Clair did not have a penalty in that first half. They were not penalized, and that's the big gap difference there, as long as forcing the turnover. But 181 to 132 total in favor of North Hills on the yardage marker there, Sean, but no passing yards at all for the Indians.
Well, with those numbers, Cory, what do you think the messages are for these coaches to their respective teams? First, for the visiting Jim Render and the Upper St. Clair Panthers.
Well, I think you go into the half, if you're Jim Render and the Panthers, a little bit happy. The way that half actually ended, it was not a great start. You gave up a touchdown on the very first play from scrimmage. I think their message is simple: to try and do what they do to get back to how they worked on that last drive. The run-pass combo, they got Jack Hansberry time to float that one downfield. He has a big arm. I would try and get him into better throwing situations to push the ball down the field.
Talking to Coach Jim Render, he told me the key to victory was preventing a fast start for North Hills. Well, when you talk about fast start, you couldn't have had much better of a start early in this game for the Indians, but after that, certainly this Upper St. Clair team settled down. On the other side for North Hills and Pat Carey, he said to slow down the offense, in particular McClendon, as one of the keys. He said, don't give up the big play on play action, establish early momentum on offense. How do you think North Hills did in those categories, and what do you think they need to do in this second half to get the home victory?
Well, there's no doubt they stopped McClendon. McClendon only has 8 carries for 24 yards in that first half. I don't remember or recall if that was a play action pass on the big play, but nevertheless, that's the one big play that they have gotten beaten on. And to slow down that offense, they've done a nice job. Aside from that play, it was just a 50-yard drive for Upper St. Clair on their scoring drive. So North Hills, their message has to be somewhat of the same as well. It's a 7-7 ball game. I know that sounds cliche. It's easy to say. But for North Hills, I think on offense, they did mostly the right things if they could just avoid some of those penalties.
One thing to note is, from my observation, seems like Hansberry on some of the passes has had a lot of time to survey the scene, and certainly on that long pass that was completed, maybe try to get a little bit more pressure on him if you're North Hills defensively.
I mean, you remember the one big hit from Gillespie early in that first half. That was the lone sack of our first half, was from Jeff Gillespie, or Jeff Gillespie, excuse me. And I mean, Sean, we really haven't seen Hansberry get hit other than that, and I think North Hills would like to put a couple hits on him especially other than any other player on that team.
Well, for several years, Progress has been recognizing the efforts of high school athletes in Western Pennsylvania. Now the Progress and AstroTurf have united under the AstroTurf name. The team at MSA Sports is pleased to say that AstroTurf has joined our high school sports sponsorship family. AstroTurf is one of the most iconic brands in sports, and we're thrilled to have them on board. It is week 1 of the 2017 WPIAL football season. I'm Sean Meyers alongside Cory Campano here on the call for North Hills and Upper St. Clair. The team's tied at 7 points apiece, but Cory, we are starting to see some scores trickle in from other games, not finals, of course, at this point. Let's run through the scores that we do have, and some of the heavyweights quickly establishing their dominance in the 1A classification. Amani Christian up 40-0 over Greensburg Central Catholic. Jeanette up 20-0 over Chartiers Houston. Riverview leading Reachburg 8-0. California 6-0 over Fort Cherry. Carmichael's leads Monessen 6-3. West Green all over Avella 33-0. Our Lady of the Sacred Heart holding a 1-point lead over Northgate 8-7. Rochester beating up on Shenango 22-0. Union all over Stowe Rocks 51-0. That's a little surprising. In 2A, Avonworth defeating Carlington 14-0. Brentwood up on Sarah Catholic 27-7. Mohawk 7-0 over Laurel. Bentworth by the same score over Brownsville. York and Best Center no score. Burgettstown 28, Fraser nothing. Washington just up by 6 on Charleroi 6-0. Cardinal War North Catholic leading Neshannock 6-0. Steel Valley 28, Riverside 14. So it doesn't look like potentially, at least early, it's going to be quite as easy this year for the Ironmen, who won every game last year, courtesy of the Mercy Rule. Southside leading New Brighton by the score of 21-14. In a big showdown, Aliquippa dominating, 30-0, leading Beaver Falls. Hopewell 6-0 over Burrell. Deer Lakes up by 1, 7-6 on Apollo Ridge. Valley and Keystone Oaks scoreless. Elizabeth Forward 19, Derry nothing. The Trojans went undefeated in the regular season last year. That could change. South Park leading Southmoreland 21-0. Mount Pleasant up 28-13 on Waynesburg. Quaker Valley all over McGuffey 22-7. Seton LaSalle up by just 7 on Shadyside 14-7. No score between York and Best Center. Central Valley up 7-0 over Elwood City. Ambridge 14-7 over Highlands. South Fayette leading Mars 7-0 in a big showdown. Bell Vernon 3, Albert Gallatin nothing. Montour 21-7 over Newcastle. Greensburg Salem leading Ringgold 14-0. 5A Woodland Hills all over Baldwin 31-3. West Allegheny 27-0 over Fox Chapel in a game that Don Rebel was forecasting might be a little bit more competitive. Moon leading Armstrong 21-14. Penn Trafford dismantling Connellsville 48-0. No score between McKeesport and Franklin Regional. Gateway up on Latrobe just by 8. 14-6 the score in that one. Plum leading Kiski area 3-0. Hampton ahead of Chartiers Valley 14-7. In 6A, Penn Hills up on Butler 14-7. Pine Richland beating Mount Lebanon 7-0. Bethel Park 21-0 over North Allegheny. A little surprising there. Cannon Mac up on Hempfield 6-0. No score between Altoona and Norwin. That's all the scores we have for now, but coming up after the game, it's the WPIAL Football Scoreboard Show with Don Rebel and my colleague Cory Campano from the MSA Sports Control Center with all the scores and recaps from week 1. Don't miss the WPIAL Football Scoreboard Show after the game, only here on the MSA Sports Network. Cory, I know you were overjoyed to be heading back the very short trek to World Headquarters in the North Hills to be talking with Don and Sam Hall, you said, correct? Yeah,
I believe Sam is the one joining me tonight, so I'll see both of them. A lot more experience from those two.
Are you calling, calling them old?
Besides me, I wouldn't say that. I would just say that I'm young. We'll put it that way.
Fair enough. Just got a kick out of that one. That's, of course, coming up after the show. And week 0, there was a lot more action this year in terms of actual games being played as opposed to scrimmages, but nothing really replicates the feeling that you get as a fan or particularly as a player for the actual start in week 1.
Yeah, there's nothing like it. I mean, especially the prime example, North Hills, you know, being at home, being able to play in front of the home crowd for your home opener. Right after week 1, you got a nice little kickstart game in week 0 against Shaler. But, I mean, across the WPIAL, it's got to be a joy. Upper St. Clair has done a nice job to come in here and make this as close as this game has been. But there is nothing like week 1 in conference play starting back up in the WPIAL.
And as we look down in front of us, what a turnout for North Hills here on these near bleachers, almost filled to capacity on the other side. Upper St. Clair occupying, I'd say, about a third of the bleachers on that side. But some of the fans that aren't technically in the stadium, but very prominent nonetheless, that's the Rowdy Rooters, a section up on the hillside right in front of a few houses representing the North Hills fan base. And I have a feeling that they're getting pretty rowdy up there.
Yeah, I wonder if they'll let us in after the game. I might have to venture over there. It's like a Wrigley Field.
Might depend on if North Hills wins or not.
Yeah, yeah.
They'll be more rowdy if the Indians pull this one out.
It's a classic look from up there. It's just like Wrigley Field. You know, they got the rooftop seats and bar across the stadium. Have it here.
Now, this is not at North Hills High School, of course. It is in Westview, Martorelli Stadium. But a great venue. I've been here before for a playoff game, never for a regular season contest, which is what we have here. Just about set for this third quarter to get underway, and it will begin with North Hills kicking the football away with Daniel Wagner set to do those duties. Sean Meyers and Cory Campano here on the call, just about set to begin half number 2. 7-7 between Upper St. Clair and North Hills. It's the MSA Sports Network Video Spotlight Game of the Week. You can watch or listen to this contest. Jess Levo providing the videography. It's also on 1320 AM WJS as we are underway for quarter number 3. It is a deep kick, and fielding that one right in front of the end zone for Upper St. Clair, and breaking up the middle now is McClendon. He gets all the way to the 35-yard line. Cory, he got that one on the 1-yard line, took it all the way up the middle, and gets a nice starting field position for this second half for the Panthers.
I love the way that McClendon received that football. You know, you see so many times guys that make the catch and then it gets a couple steps until they get going. McClendon almost looked to catch that and go right away. First step was so quick, and he had a lot of speed to get up to the 35.
Remember, this game began with North Hills taking the opening kickoff to the 20-yard line and then subsequently scoring an 80-yard touchdown. Now it's the 35 where Upper St. Clair begins quarter number 3 with their signal caller Jack Hansberry working out of the gun. Sidecar to his left. He hands off to that player McClendon, who does a nice little dance and gets to the 40-yard line, still on his feet beyond the 45, gets near the 50. It's a first down pickup, and he will be spotted at the 48-yard line. So good carry by Colin McClendon, one of the best we've seen from him tonight.
That is the best stat-wise, is that one busted up to the 48-yard line for a gain of 13. Remember, just 8 carries for 24 yards in that first half for Colin McClendon. Little different story to start the second.
The lone touchdown for the Panthers came on a 1-yard QB keeper by their signal caller Hansberry. It was Brennan who had the big score the other way. First down handoff goes to McClendon up the middle, getting some blocking in front of him. Gets again a nice pickup. This time it's going to go for about a 9-yard gain inside the 45 down to the 43-yard line. And it seems like it's clearly the mindset of Jim Render and the Panthers to run the football with the power game.
And what did North Hills say they wanted to do, and that is stop Colin McClendon. They did a nice job in the first half, but got to stick to that game plan. McClendon gotten the better of them so far on these first 2 carries, 2 touches of the second half.
Saw a couple of the linemen for the Panthers doing a nice job getting down the field to provide some blocking. It's a 2nd and 1, ball at the 43-yard line for Upper St. Clair. Hansberry fakes the handoff. Now he'll throw, and that pass is complete. First down pickup along the far sidelines to the 35, where it's completed to Tom Kyle.
Tom Kyle's done a great job on the far side of the field consistently all night. Near his sideline, I think he's getting an earful of what route to run or how far to go maybe each time, and he's the one that caught the big ball down the middle. He's been the best receiver all night for the Panthers.
He was outside the numbers, about halfway between the numbers and the sideline where he made that reception. Now it's at the 35 for the Panthers. Nice start to this third quarter. Hansberry out of the gun, was set to hand off to McClendon, but whistle and flags come in as that ball was snapped. It'll go against the Panthers.
First penalty of the game for Upper St. Clair. Remember that North Hills had 6 penalties for 45 yards against them in that first half. That's the first blemish for the Panthers.
5-yard false start infraction as North Hills makes a defensive line substitution. So that'll move it back to the 40-yard line for the Panthers. Hansberry to operate out of the shotgun again. 2 receivers to the near side now after a man in motion goes that way. Hansberry's going to fake a pass, now take it himself, gets a nice gainer inside the 35-yard line as he took that one to the right side, was spun down at about the 32.
Alex Glatz came from the far side of the football field to make that stop. Great push and a big hole for Hansberry to run through that time. Upper St. Clair getting a little bit of push on that offensive line this drive.
Jack Hansberry's used his legs frequently in this contest. He's working out of the pistol formation now. 2 receivers to the right side. Instead, he will hand off up the middle to McClinton. He's got some running room. He's inside the 25, still on his feet, cuts back along the near sidelines, forced out of bounds inside the 10. The stop made by Brennan, but not before a nice pickup for McClendon, and the Panthers offense is rolling.
All the way down to the 8-yard line, called a gain of 24 for number 24 in white. Took a big hit as he neared the sideline, the near sideline, but an excellent run for Colin McClendon. And Sean, 3 carries so far in the second half, 13, 9, and 24 on the gains.
Certainly in stark contrast to what we saw in the first half of this game. First and goal now from the 8. 3 receivers to the left side for Hansberry out of the gun. Sidecar to his right. He's going to roll to that right side, take it himself. Hansberry trying to break the plane, and he is into the end zone. An 8-yard touchdown, and for the first time, the Panthers have the lead.
What a play call there. Now you get some flags thrown in after the play. Not sure if there were pushing or a celebration call, but heads butted just across the goal line. Jack Hansberry, his 2nd touchdown of the game. That one, a beautiful job to just follow the pulling guard and follow McClendon, who was out in front as a bit of a blocker there. And Jack Hansberry on the board again for the Panthers.
How do you explain the difference in the offensive success and really the offensive approach for Upper St. Clair in the 3rd quarter compared to what we just saw for the entire first half?
Yeah, I mean, it's clear what you said earlier, Sean, after the 2nd carry from McClendon. They want to get him the ball. They want to run the football, but I think it's all starts with that offensive line. The push is there right now on the second half. Really not as much going on in the first half for Upper St. Clair, winning the trench battles, and you see that prominently on that drive for USC.
So the penalty will be against Upper St. Clair, but it'll be enforced on the subsequent kickoff. So the touchdown certainly stands, and now the Panthers trying to extend the lead with Sean Martin on for the extra point.
Jack Hansberry's in there as the long snapper.
The snap is good, the kick is up, and that kick is good as well, and that'll make it 14-7. So the Panthers now doubling up the Indians. Will step aside with USC in front. You're listening to and watching 2017 WPIAL football. It's the video spotlight game of the week on the MSA Sports Network and also here on 1320 AM WJAS. AM WJS as well as the MSA Sports Network for the video spotlight game of the week. I'm Sean Meyers alongside Cory Campano. Just Levo providing the videography, and Upper St. Clair with touchdowns on consecutive drives. Their last of the first half and their first of this second half of play has the Panthers up 14-7 over North Hills. Both touchdowns courtesy of Hansberry on the ground as Martin's kick. It is a high but short kick. Will be fielded at the 25-yard line. Blanks on the return, takes it past the 40, still on his feet, gets to the 50 quickly, and then he's brought down on a shoestring tackle. Just tripped up by the ankles, but he gets on the positive side of the 50, and it'll be great starting field position for the Indians to try to respond.
That was Sean Martin, the kicker, that had to make that shoestring tackle. Otherwise, Blanks had the whole sideline to score. And after that excessive celebration penalty that pushed Upper St. Clair back on the kickoff, North Hills definitely taking advantage to start on the 46 of USC.
We'll see if the Indians have a response. Their only score came on the first play of the game offensively. As back out of the gun, Will Hurt, their signal caller. He's actually going to operate out of a pistol formation with the back behind him. Takes a snap, hands off to that back, and nowhere to go that time for Melvin Blanks, as he is absolutely hammered in the backfield.
And that was big number 51, Jeremy Frank. Talk about pursuit, went right in the A gap and was able to drill Blanks before he had anywhere to go. That is the first loss on a carry for Kyle Blanks or Melvin Blanks, in quite some time. He lost 3.
Ball spotted back at the 49-yard line now for the Indians. That brings up a 2nd and 13. 2 receivers to the far side, 2 to the near side for Hurt with a sidecar to his right. He's quickly going to throw passes complete at the original line of scrimmage. That'll go no further as that one went to the left side to the aforementioned Melvin Blanks, but only a short pickup is going to keep it at a 3rd and long. Should be about 3rd and 10, maybe 3rd and 11.
First pass of the night completed for North Hills. So 1 of 3 for Will Hurt for 2 yards and an interception. Sean, not really how you and I envisioned that stat line to read.
No, a returning starter who had a nice campaign last year. Thought we'd see him a lot more involved. Maybe he will be in this second half, but now he's facing a 3rd and 11. Ball at the 47. 7:48 remaining in quarter number 3. His team now trailing 14-7 Upper St. Clair. 3 receivers to the near side, 1 to the far side for Hurt. As he drops back, he's under pressure, throws the ball up. And I don't know that anyone even saw that pass thrown. Certainly not Melvin Blanks, who was the closest player, as it falls to the turf. Incomplete, brings up a 4th and 11 and likely a punting situation.
That outside linebacker was Colin McClendon that had the pressure on Hurt. And there was just no chance for Hurt. There's his first step on the drop. There was already a defender in his face. And, boy, that is not the drive that North Hills had planned to start the second half.
3 and out, it appears. He's back to punt this one away as Wagner, as he stands at the 38-yard line, will boot it from the 42. It is a high and deep punt. Fair catch signaled at the 10-yard line, and that's where Tom Kyle's able to haul it in. So good job that time by the punter, Wagner. He is a junior and certainly has a bright future. He does his best to make sure that field position still doesn't hurt North Hills too much after that 3 and out.
That was a great punt, absolutely great punt. He let that go from about the 44-yard line in his own territory all the way down to the 10, and a ton of loft on that. No chance for a return.
That one figure would have gone into the end zone on a bounce, but by the same token, Kyle didn't want to risk it. So now Upper St. Clair takes over at the 10-yard line with Jack Hansberry operating out of the shotgun. 2 receivers split each way. Instead, he will hand off to McClendon, who dances inside. Now he's in the open field, gets out to the 20, lunges forward, maybe got to the 21, but a nice first down gainer as the player's slow to get up for the Panthers.
McClendon knifed his way through that hole. Excellent job. It's going to be a first down run across the 20, and I'm trying to see who exactly that is that went down. I believe that it's Jesse Farah, wide receiver for the Panthers.
While Farah is down, we'll step aside briefly. 7:22 remaining in quarter number 3, 14-7 in favor of Upper St. Clair over North Hills. It's 2017 WPIAL football. The video spotlight on the MSA Sports Network and on 1320 AM WJAS. Without any assistance. It's a 1st and 10 for Upper St. Clair. Ball at the 21-yard line after that 11-yard gainer on the first down play for the Panthers. 2 receivers split each way for Jim Render's squad. Hansberry out of the gun. He's going to keep it himself. Run to the right side, is up through the middle, gets to the 25, and he stopped there.
Good 4-yard pickup, though, on first down. You see the offensive flow is an obvious pickup for Upper St. Clair. They are starting to build play after play.
That's Cory Campano. I'm Sean Meyers here on the call of this 5A conference opener. Upper St. Clair and North Hills both in the playoffs a year ago. The Panthers suffered a setback last week in Ohio against Steubenville. North Hills was able to cruise to a victory against Shaler in those week 0 matchups. 2nd and 6. Hansberry will hand off to McClendon as he hesitates now. Goes through the hole, was able to get near the 30, and a flag comes in late. Have to wonder if maybe that could be a face mask. It was after the tackle was made on McClendon, who was able to get to the 29.
Yeah, very late flag, Sean, from that far official. But it looks like there that number 10, Alex Glatz on North Hills, was pointing the other way. So I don't know if that was a late hold or looked like a face mask from up here. I thought you had it right. We'll see what the call is.
It's a personal foul against North Hills. And as a result, that's going to be a 15-yard penalty. Yeah, it'll bring it out to the 40-yard line and beyond. They'll spot it at the, looks to be the 43. So Upper St. Clair had almost no offensive success early in this game, Cory, but that touchdown right before the half really seems to have done wonders for this team's confidence.
Yeah, just a shot in the arm for them, no doubt.
Now spotted at the 44 officially. As Hansberry out of the gun will hand off to McClendon. He's doing some dancing up the middle. He's hit and stood up at the 48-yard line. Although positive yardage once again. And when you can get 3 or preferably 4 yards on first down, it really allows you to open up the playbook on 2nd and 3rd down.
Total 14 carries now for McClendon. So obvious that they started to get in the flow of things offensively and get him the football. Also for North Hills, another big hit defensively there for Jeff Gillespie. He's been all over the field.
48-yard line for Upper St. Clair and Panthers territory. 2nd and 6. Hansberry out of the gun will hand off again to McClendon. He's trying to break through the first tackle in the backfield, not able to do so. He'll be brought down right at the line of scrimmage. It'll bring up 3rd and 6.
Yeah, no gain. Great defense there from North Hills. They were all over at that time. And this is a big 3rd down in their own territory. The Indians need a stop. They need some more time to get that offense rolling.
The big man checking out for North Hills, Toten, comes off the field. This would be a big stop for the Indians if they're able to get it on 3rd and 6. Hansberry will pitch this one out. McClendon has some running room, trying to get a block. He's going to be short of the first down by about a yard as he got beyond midfield, but couldn't get to the 46 where the sticks were located. Well, you might call this one 2 yards short.
Thought that he was going to be drilled in the backfield there. Again, that was Gillespie. But McClendon was able to sidestep that and get positive yardage. But, yeah, 2 yards short, Sean, as you mentioned. Special teams on the field.
So the Panthers do go with the punt unit and Sapulio to boot this one away. No rush, so he has plenty of time to boot this one high into the air. And it's going to bounce, and this one is going to trickle inside the 5. Will get into the end zone. It will, as the Panthers nearly were able to down it right before the goal line, but ultimately just not able to keep the football in play, and it'll be the 20-yard line where North Hills takes over. But that one could have nearly been disastrous for the Indians.
Very close to. I wasn't really sure what Melvin Blanks was doing. He let the ball hit at the 10, but then kind of followed it all the way to the goal line with white jerseys all around. I mean, that hits off your foot, just a little touch anywhere, and Upper St. Clair falls on that. It's going to be a touchdown or a ball right on the 1. So North Hills escapes that one there, Sean.
When these teams played in 2016 in week 1, it was a 28-7 victory for Upper St. Clair. Now it's 14-7 in favor of the Panthers with 4:04 remaining in quarter number 3. 20-yard line is where North Hills will take over. This is going to be the Wildcat snap to Blanks out of the shotgun, takes it forward to the left side for about 2 yards. But it seems like that Wildcat formation, it paid immediate dividends at the beginning of this game. Since then, it hasn't been as successful.
I think that's more of an adjustment on the Upper St. Clair side of the football. They've done a nice job to sort of limit Melvin Blanks when they've had to.
Well, you figure when you see Blanks out of the shotgun to receive the snap, it's probably about 99% certain it's going to be a running play, so you can, to an extent, sell out there. 2nd and 8. Now the down and distance for the North Hills Indians. Again, they're going to go with the Wildcat snap to Blanks. It's a high one, but he's able to handle it. Takes it to the left side, trying to get to the outside, and he's not able to make a man miss, which he did so many times in that first half. He's brought down at about the 22.
Now you're in a situation that it just is not positive for North Hills. Haven't been able to throw the football all night, and you put yourself in another 3rd and long here. Just haven't been able to get going in the second half.
That was no gain on that play. Checking in Garrett Fuchs for the Indians. Haven't called his name as much as maybe we anticipated. It has been a real struggle to pass the football for the homestanding Indians. They certainly might want to try that here. Facing a 3rd and 8 from the 22. 2:37 remaining in this 3rd quarter. Hurt, the quarterback, out of the gun. He's got some time now. He's got backside pursuit, and he loses the football on a sack. The official's going to say it was an incomplete pass instead of a fumble, but he is fired up right now, not happy with the pass protection. Is the quarterback, Will Hurt.
And I don't think that's an incomplete pass, Sean. I think they're going to say that's a sack all the way back to the 7-yard line and that his knee was down.
And then the football came out on the pass attempt. All right, yeah, that is the case. So that is a big loss, as that line of scrimmage was the 22, so 15 yards in the wrong direction for the Indians, and now they'll have to punt from their own end zone. Daniel Wagner to boot this one away. Standing at the 45 is Tom Kyle. The 45 in North Hills territory, that is, and that punt's not going to make it that far, at least in the air. It will bounce to about the 40, maybe the 41 in North Hills territory. It's going to be great starting field position, Cory, for the Panthers.
Yeah, 41-yard line is exactly where they spot the football. That 3rd and 8 situation, you knew, North Hills was already reeling a bit and knowing that they had to throw the football there. Not exactly the way they wanted to go. A 15-yard loss on the sack. Will Hurt was visibly upset after that play, as he's still talking on the sideline, and it looks like in the mix there was Joe Ryan. Maybe a misroute on the outside or just a miscommunication.
Second drive that started in Indians territory for Upper St. Clair. It's at the 41. Hansberry goes under center now. He will hand off to McClendon up the middle. Excuse me, that is not McClendon, that's DeLulis. And he didn't get much on that carry, but was able to get about 2 yards to the 39.
DeLulis, more in a fullback stance there, was just able to breach the line of scrimmage and fall forward. Correct me if I'm wrong, but that's the 2nd or 3rd snap only that we've seen Hansberry under center.
Yeah, there hasn't been a lot of QB center exchange, or at least not the typical exchange for either of these teams. It's now 2nd and 8, ball at the 39. This one is out of the gun for Hansberry. It's a play action. He's going to look over the middle. It's a deep pass. He's got a man open. The pass is complete. It is a touchdown. Hauling that one in for Upper St. Clair is Chris Patelis, and the Panthers are rolling.
39 yards through the air, and again, it's the play action over the middle, and Jack Hansberry, when he has time to set his feet, gets a beautiful ball thrown down the middle. Great grab on the other end as well for Pantelis. Upper St. Clair has totally flipped the script in this ballgame.
A 39-yard score for Pantelis, as now the extra point is up. That kick is good for Sean Martin, and 21 unanswered for the Panthers, as they now hold a 21-7 lead with 1:05 remaining in quarter number 3. We'll step aside. It's 21-7 Upper St. Clair over North Hills 2017 WPIAL football. It's the Video Spotlight Game of the Week here on the MSA Sports Network and on 1320 AM WJAS. Upper St. Clair, Sean Martin booting it away after another Panthers touchdown. This one will be fielded at the 12-yard line for North Hills, and on the return, it is Brennan as he's able to get beyond the 30. Tried to stay on his feet momentarily and was brought down at the 34-yard line. I'm Sean Meyers alongside Cory Campano. Now less than a minute remaining in quarter number 3, 57 seconds to be exact. And this game has swung drastically in favor of the Panthers. It is 21-7 Upper St. Clair.
Yeah, they've certainly found their way. North Hills on the other side can't seem to get anything right offensively. And ever since that, first play of the game, Sean, I mean, really, a couple nice, decent drives they put together, but not able to put any more points on the board since 24 seconds into the game.
That was a Tyler Brennan 80-yard touchdown on the Wildcat snap, as now the 34-yard line is where North Hills will take over, trying to stop this streak of 21 consecutive points as a short pass is completed to Cam Taylor right at the line of scrimmage on the near sideline, and he's going to be drilled by 6, 7 maybe tacklers for Upper St. Clair as they bring him down at the 37-yard line. So Taylor did a nice job picking up anything on that one, but he was certainly gang tackled at the end.
Yeah, really got to credit Taylor, honestly. I mean, there was no room there. He caught that behind the line of scrimmage, it looked like, turned it into a 3-yard gain.
Ball spotted at the 37, makes it 2nd and 7. Final 20 seconds of this third quarter with North Hills working out of the pistol formation and Hurt. Hurt's going to hand off to the player behind him in Blanks. Blanks makes the first player miss, but again is gang tackled shy of the 40, and it seems like the defense is really running the football.
2 yards that time for Blanks, and it'll be another third and dicey situation for North Hills when we come back for the 4th.
That is the end of the third quarter, and what a quarter it was for Upper St. Clair. The Panthers, courtesy of 21 straight points, now lead at 21-7 over North Hills. It's 2017 WPIAL football. It's the video spotlight game of the week on the MSA Sports Network, and it's also on 1320 AM WJAS. Sean Meyers and Cory Campano. The score 21-7 in favor of Upper St. Clair over the homestanding North Hills Indians. It's a 3rd and 5 situation for the home team. Ball at the North Hills 39-yard line as we resume play. Hurt out of the gun has 3 receivers to the left, 1 to the right, and a sidecar to his left. Hasn't done much through the air. Now he drops back. It's a short pass that is completed on the screen, and a good yard after completion, but a flag comes in, and that might negate what could be a first down for Gillespie. Gillespie was able to get first down yardage to the 45, but Cory, you don't think this one's going to stand? I
don't. It just looked like as soon as Gillespie made the move there, the flag came in, and there were a couple blockers standing right next to the play. I loved the play call. But 3rd and 5, you don't want Hurt to throw the ball downfield. He hasn't been successful with that. I love the little misdirection screen there and get Gillespie involved, but we'll see if it stands.
It will not. It is a holding against North Hills, so it'll stay 3rd down, but it'll become much greater distance for the Indians to convert.
Mark that down as another penalty that hurts North Hills in this ball game.
And really, if you think about the 7-0 lead, it probably could have been more if not for those first half penalties. And now Upper St. Clair was able to survive that early touchdown and has completely taken control. 3rd and 13 officially, with the ball spotted back at the 31 now for the Indians. Hurt will operate out of the shotgun. Sidecar to his left. 3 receivers to the left as well. Extra blocker in this time for North Hills. Hurt's going to drop back, has some time, now steps up in the pocket. He's going to have to run with it, and he's spun down after crossing the 35-yard line. He's going to be well short of that first down stick, and the punt team quickly comes out for Pat Carey's squad.
Got out to the 37, but I mean, Hurt, again, he was looking left. Time kind of collapsed on him. Nobody was open downfield. And again, a disappointing drive for the Indians.
I want to let you know to tune in to This Week at the WPIAL on Wednesday night at 7 p.m. Join us as we visit with some of the top WPIAL coaches, plus we preview week 2 of the WPIAL football season. The punt is away. It is another high punt off of the foot of Daniel Wagner. A fair catch called for at the 31-yard line by Tom Kyle, and it seems like that's the game plan for Kyle, Cory. Fair catch, don't risk anything, especially now with a 2-score lead.
Well, remember the first one he caught in this football game, he got hit immediately, and I'm sure Jim Render sent something to Kyle when he went to the sideline that time, and ever since then he's been in perfect position, easy catch. I like what he's doing, and let's not forget about how effective he's been in the passing game as well.
Certainly the recipient of some nice passes from Jack Hansberry, the signal caller for the Panthers, as USC takes over at the 31-yard line. 10:50 remaining in regulation. The Panthers holding a 21-7 lead. Hansberry to work out of the pistol. 2 receivers split each way. Instead, he will hand off to McClendon, who bumped into his own lineman, got to the 30-yard line, driven back. That'll go for a 1-yard loss.
Good pursuit there on the D-line for North Hills, especially big number 79, Michael Toten.
Toten is a guy that he's very visible, whether he's making the play or not. He's a guy that jumps out. You don't see many players at any level, but especially at the high school level, who tip the scales at 335 and stand 6'1".
He's an important member of that D-line for North Hills because you can't really run up the middle on him.
2nd and 11 now after the 1-yard loss. Man in motion moves from the left side of the line to the right for Hansberry out of the gun. He's got plenty of time as he drops back, surveys the scene, throws to the near sideline, deep pass, but it'll go out of bounds. No chance that time for the intended target, Sapulio. And in a situation like this, Hansberry, he'd love to take a shot down the field if it's open, but he can't force anything. Certainly that time showed some discretion in throwing it out of play.
I really think that that's the best throw that he could have made there. Some pressure for once there for North Hills, and Hansberry was so calm. He stepped up in the pocket, but nobody was open. I'll just place it in a spot where nobody can catch it, especially with a 14-point lead. That's just football smarts.
And Hansberry, much like Hurt, seniors who were starters a year ago. Last year, Hansberry threw for just shy of 1,000 yards, 960. Now he's going to keep it on the ground on this 3rd and 11. He's got first down yardage as he spins out of a tackle at the 40, lunges forward to the 43, and he's able to get the first down just by an eyelash. That is a great run by Hansberry as he made the most of it in the open field.
Boy, it did not look like a quarterback one bit on that run, Sean. I mean, he was hit after about 5 yards from the line of scrimmage, dodged one tackle, another spin move, and just that determination to fall forward. Goes for a 13-yard gain and another first down for USC.
Looking at the measurables for Hansberry, 6'2", 210 pounds. So he is certainly built very well for a quarterback. At the 43-yard line now, he hands off. McClendon is immediately met behind the line of scrimmage. In on the stop that time is Damon Thompson, along with the 2 other teammates. A trio of defenders converged on the ball carrier.
Damon Thompson's a nice young player. We've called his name a couple times tonight, especially on the defensive side of the football. He's near the ball, it seems, all the time. The 6-foot sophomore. He's got a couple bright future years ahead of him here for the Indians.
And that prompts a 2nd and 13 now for the Panthers. Once again, 2 receivers to both the near and far sides for Hansberry. Hansberry's going to look to his left. The pass is complete on the outside, losing his footing after getting to the 45-yard line. That time was Pantelis, who already has a touchdown under his belt. It goes for a relatively short gain, and as a result, it will now be a 3rd and 8 for Upper St. Clair.
Yeah, 5-yard pickup, but makes it sort of manageable now for the Panthers. And Sean, with 8.5 left, and the way that this has gone offensively in the second half for North Hills, this is a very important play.
Should note that this is a turf field. As we mentioned, Pantelis losing his footing, and now we have whistles and timeout taken. I believe it'll be taken by the Upper St. Clair Panthers. Haven't got an indication either way. We have a timeout on the field. So the clock stops with 8:21 remaining at quarter number 4. It is 21-7 Upper St. Clair over North Hills. You're listening to 2017 WPIAL Football. It's the video spotlight game of the week on the MSA Sports Network, and it's also broadcast on 1320 AM WJAS. Regulation is a 21-7 lead in favor of Upper St. Clair over North Hills. I'm Sean Meyers alongside Cory Campano. Jess Levo providing the videography on this video spotlight game of the week. 3rd and 8 ball at the 45 for the Panthers. The 45 in their own territories. Hansberry under center. Now will hand it back to McClendon. He's got some running room to the left side. Flag comes flying. He lowers the shoulder to get the first down and get to the 45 at North Hills territory. But that flag might bring back that would-be first down pickup.
Great cut back in the middle of the field by McClendon. He took a big shot at the end of that run, though, as he got up slowly. Almost certain that this will be coming back, though, Sean.
Brandon Manning defensively a little hobbled for North Hills, and indeed it will come back. Cory, to your point, is a holding against the Panthers, which means a do-over on 3rd down, negating that nice run.
Shame for Upper St. Clair. If there's one bright spot that they can look at, it's that by that penalty, some more time will run off. That's a big pushback, though.
Yeah, it's going to really move the football back to the 32-yard line, and they have to get to the 47 on the North Hills side of the field, do the Panthers.
This is where North Hills, you need a big hit or a big stop, a big deflection, something that can get the crowd back into the game.
Yeah, it's a good job of ball control by Jim Render's squad, and this would be the perfect time for the Indians to change that. 2 receivers each way. And the pistol formation for Hansberry as he has McClendon behind him. He will hand off to his running back. McClendon stops as soon as he receives the handoff. A little hesitation, gets him up to the 35, across the 35 to the 36, but a pretty safe play call there on 3rd down. And now the Panthers seemingly content to punt this football away.
Yeah, smart, just run the clock. I mean, no reason to throw the football there. 14-point lead, your defense has been absolutely phenomenal since the first play of the game. No reason to rush anything here either. Wait as long as you can to get this punt off.
So that'll be the 36-yard line, the line of scrimmage. North Hills sending Austral back, it appears, as this is a high punt that will be fielded at the 26-yard line by Austral. Now he's got some running room, cuts to the near side, stays on his feet. Flag comes flying in, and now he's going to be gang tackled and pushed back to about the 25. They're going to call it the 32 with forward progress, but we'll have to sort out the flag.
It's going even further back. It was Connor Zombeck, the senior for North Hills, right around where Austell caught that football. Number 14 grabbed the jersey. That's going to be another hold, and Shauna, the penalties are just racking up here for the Indians.
Probably into double digits now with how many penalties against North Hills.
That was the 9th, so just one away.
7:01 remaining in this 4th quarter. It is all Upper St. Clair, courtesy of 21 consecutive points by the Panthers after North Hills scored on its first offensive play of the game, an 80-yard touchdown.
This score here for North Hills, if they get a score on this drive, they need it to be quick, Sean. I mean, there's no doubt about it. McClendon's been running in the second half. Upper St. Clair's run a ton of time off the clock. Indians need a score, and they need it quick, but they've got to go a long ways to get it.
Well, we know they got a quick score to begin this game, courtesy of the 80-yard run by Brennan, but do you start to try some deep passes down the field with Hurd, who's been relatively ineffective?
You might have to. I mean, it's that time of the ball game.
He's working out of the gun. Will send a man in motion so that 3 receivers are now on the near side of the field. He's going to look that direction. It's a pass behind the line of scrimmage. It's another pass down the field, and the man is open, and the pass is complete to Blanks at the 50. He cuts back. He's got some room. He's inside the 40, inside the 30. He's going to be brought down from behind. A good trick play. John Hodnick caught the initial pass behind the line of scrimmage, and it was a backwards pass, Cory. That allowed him the option to throw down the field, and Hodnick able to hook up with Melvin Blanks for a huge gain down to the 27-yard line.
All in all, there have been 5 yards gained through the air by Will Hurt. But they get it to another man in John Hodnick, and he gets a completion for 51 on a great move by Blanks after the catch as well.
Indians now in the offensive side of the field in Upper St. Clair territory with some momentum. Hurt's going to pitch it now to the near side as brought down from behind, and what looked to be a horse collar tackle is Brennan. I don't see a flag out yet.
They threw one.
So that should be an additional pickup courtesy of the penalty yardage for North Hills, as that's a dangerous looking tackle. That time Tyler Brennan seems to be okay as he's working his way back to the huddle.
Yeah, was really happy to see the way that Brennan popped up so quickly there, because that tackle looked a bit nasty, but there's an Upper St. Clair Panther down on the near sideline.
Yeah, right on the sideline occupied by North Hills. So with this stoppage for the injury, even though the player's not on the field, I would assume that they would stop play, as they're now signaling, they're going to call it a face mask. It was more so a horse collar, but nonetheless a penalty. It'll be interesting to see here if they stop this game, Cory, or if they're going to continue to try to play with that Panther down on the North Hills sideline.
I'm still trying to see that player down.
I think it's Jake Slinger, 52.
Yeah, you're right. That is Slinger. He's getting up on his own power now.
And they will call a timeout, so we will keep it right here as Slinger appears to be just about set to make his way off the field. In the meantime, we want to let you know that UPMC Sports Medicine is excited to once again be partnering with MSA Sports on the UPMC Stay Strong and Play On program. Student athletes will be recognized to remain dedicated to their teams and are determined to return to play while recovering from an injury. UPMC Sports Medicine will be granting 2 $1,000 scholarships at the end of the year to athletes who have managed to stay strong and play on. Nominate an athlete today. Click on the Stay Strong and Play On graphic at www.msasports.net for details. Back to action. 1st and 10, ball spotted at the 13-yard line now for North Hills. Hurt out of the pistol, will hand off to Blanks. Blanks takes it to the right side. He's hit hard after a gain of about 3 yards right at the 10-yard line. He was driven back. And that's a good play by Upper St. Clair to make sure he didn't get any further.
Yeah, James DeLolis, again, that weak side linebacker. He had a ton of force behind that one. But again, 3-yard gain. This is right where North Hills needs to be. That one trick play that's put them in this position, then the penalty. They've got to punch it in right now, Sean.
Yeah, certainly a field goal will not do any good. They need to get into the end zone. 2nd and 7, ball at the 10-yard line for Hurt out of the pistol. Also has a sidecar to his left. He's going to pitch it to Blanks, and he's brought down in the backfield for a big loss at the 19-yard line, blowing that one up. Sapulio for Upper St. Clair, and that's one of the best defensive plays and one of the biggest defensive plays for the Panthers tonight.
That loses 9 yards on the pitch to the near side. That is about the worst thing that North Hills could have hoped for other than a turnover, and it looked like the entire Upper St. Clair defense read that play, Sean.
Sapulio was the one who blew it up, but to your point, even if he had missed, I don't think Blanks was going anywhere. And now with a 3rd and 16, it's 4 down territory in all likelihood. Will North Hills go to the passing game? Hurt will work out of the pistol formation with 2 receivers to the far side. Sidecar to his right as well. He's going to drop back now under pressure. It's a screen pass. The pass is complete to Blanks, but he is triple teamed and brought down at about the 23-yard line. So that's going to go for another loss, Cory, and that time the defense was not fooled.
Loss of 4 on the catch for Melvin Banks, and again, the screen worked a little bit earlier, but that time, again, it's just 2 plays in a row where Upper St. Clair is so focused in defensively, they've turned this into a 4th and 20 at the 23-yard line.
North Hills will take a timeout. We will as well. 4th and 20 with the Panthers holding a 21-7 lead. The Indians trying to get some points. It's 2017 WPIAL football. It's the MSA Sports Video Spotlight Game of the Week, and it's also here on 1320 AM WJAS. will work out of the shotgun. Sidecars to his right and to his left, and receiver split wide each way. Need to get inside the 4-yard line, do the Indians. Hurt drops back. He's got all day to throw. He's going to throw it to the near sideline, to the end zone. Double coverage. It is tipped, and it is out of bounds. It was actually intercepted, but the player for the Panthers who came down with it, not able to keep his feet in. That was Matt Kissinger, and it's a costly turnover on downs.
Another player down for Upper St. Clair in the North Hills end zone. And at that point, I mean, North Hills had no other decision, Sean, but to just throw it up towards the end zone. But with 4 minutes, 20 seconds remaining, Upper St. Clair in prime position to walk out of here with a win should they hold on to the football.
But let's dig a little bit deeper into that drive. The trick play got them in real good territory for North Hills. The subsequent personal foul penalty gave them a golden opportunity. It was a 2nd and 7 all the way down to the 10-yard line, and they went backwards on the next 2 plays, forcing that kind of desperation heave on 4th down.
Yeah, it went the wrong way. There's nothing else to say about it. They were in a great spot, had a couple plays where they did not execute, and then went even further back. And Sean, I believe that's Tom Kyle down in the end zone.
Oh, that is a player that this Panthers team cannot afford to lose. He has been instrumental in their success tonight. Sure-handed on punt returns. He's been active in the passing game, and he's done a good job defensively, as well as you're seeing the sights if you're tuning into this video feed here at Martorelli Stadium in Westview. 2017 week 1 of the football campaign for the WPIAL. What an exciting time of year, as Kyle is still down. He has some teammates and trainers surrounding him. He has his hands up near his head, and the officials also there. This is a game that I think North Hills really, to accomplish their goals, and talking to their head coach, Pat Carey, Cory, this is a game they probably had to win at home against an Upper St. Clair team that's certainly very good, but maybe not as good as some of the great USC teams of past. If they want to get a better seed, they want to do better than the 4th team out of the division, then these are the games North Hills is going to win. But right now it certainly looks like an uphill battle. Is the good news. Tom Kyle making his way off the field.
Yeah, we had number 5 versus number 8 in the MSA top 10 standings here tonight, Upper St. Clair being the 5th seed. And really so far, Sean, I would guess that has been verified. You know, the way that this game has gone. I mean, North Hills, the funny part is we talked about in the pregame, Coach Render said it for Upper St. Clair. They wanted to avoid a quick start. North Hills wanted to get out to a quick start. One play from scrimmage, they score a touchdown, 80 yards, and have not been able to get on the board since. It's kind of just been a weird game for the Indians.
So the 23-yard line, the starting spot for Upper St. Clair. Hansberry's out of the gun. Figure he won't throw too much from here on out as he takes this one himself, gets beyond the 30, up the middle, got near a 1st down. We'll see where they spotted it. Might be enough to move the sticks.
See, it is. Great run for Hansberry. Mark it as a gain of exactly 10, and did North Hills use a timeout, or is this going to roll?
It is rolling, and every time that the Panthers pick up another 1st down, it's going to continue to run more time off the clock, which is now just over 4 minutes remaining, and the Panthers up by 14. So many great athletes and football players have come from these 2 schools over the years. We mentioned 1987. Pat Carey is a part of this national championship team for North Hills. As this handoff by Hansberry to McClendon goes for a short gain. McClendon trying to work behind that offensive line, gets a 2-yard, maybe a 3-yard pickup before he's driven back. And it looks like a timeout called by North Hills. We'll keep it right here. Me being partial to Penn State, of course, Cory, as you see the jacket. This is weather that requires a jacket, believe it or not, on September 1st. You think about the players who went from these schools to Penn State and then to the NFL as great linebackers. For North Hills, everyone knows LeVar Arrington, Sean Lee for Upper St. Clair. And that just kind of epitomizes the tradition of great football both of these high schools have produced over not just a short period of time, but decades and decades.
I don't think just in football either. I mean, there's been athletes across the WPIAL, across these 2 teams, these 2 high schools that have gone places. And I think it's just a product, too, of the area that we live in the area that we get a chance to do this and talk about, because there are some serious athletes that end up going to the next level and beyond. And it's great to see. Great to see where they all start out from our vantage point.
Absolutely. And there's many more from the class of 2018 that will go on, the class of 2019, year in and year out. Western Pennsylvania produces tremendous athletes across the board, to your point, in so many different sports. So after the timeout, 2nd and 7 for Upper St. Clair. The Panthers have possession and a 2-score lead, 21-7. They will work out of the pistol here. Hansberry takes a snap, now hands it off inside, and a quick little hitter gets beyond the 40-yard line for the running back DeLulis. James DeLulis able to get all the way to the 43, and he's awfully close to another first down.
Yeah, I think it's just shy. No, they're going to give him credit. So 7-yard gain and a beauty by DeLulis, north-south, just his 2nd carry of the ball game. But if you want a guy that's just going to run straight forward and hold onto the football, there's no better time to have DeLulis in there right now for Upper St. Clair.
Is it a helpless feeling right now if you're on the defense for North Hills?
I mean, it looks that way. Upper St. Clair has just been able to execute. It's as simple as that.
Pistol formation. Again, it goes inside to DeLulis. This time he doesn't have nearly success. He's hit in the backfield and driven back. That's going to go for no gain, maybe a 1-yard loss. Good job by the Indians. But at this point, Cory, we think that probably North Hills needs to make some splash plays and force a turnover.
Yeah, and unfortunately for them, it looks like Tyler Brennan is limping around out there, number 22 in red. That's the last thing you want with a gut-punching loss, is to have an injury on top of it late in the ball game.
Remember, he was brought down hard on that horse collar penalty, but was able to stay in, and he still remains in the contest. But when you have a number of players already hobbled and it's just week 1, that certainly does not bode well. Now 2:20 remaining in quarter number 4. It's 2nd and 11. Hansberry hands off to McClendon this time, and he's met immediately. It'll be another short loss. There's one of the players in there on the stop, the often mentioned Toten.
Damon Thompson as well in there.
And with a 25-second play clock, Upper St. Clair has a great opportunity, and the play clocks are visible, so Hansberry can see that. He can wait until the very last second to snap the football, as we're now down to 1:50 remaining in regulation.
Tough one for North Hills, the way that they got started. And to just see their offensive execution just kind of slip away.
The Rowdy Rooters are not too rowdy right now for North Hills, as this ball was fumbled off the snap. It hit off of Hansberry, trickled in front of him. I believe he got on top of it. Indeed, he did. So that is disaster averted for Upper St. Clair. And that's one of the drawbacks at any level, but particularly the high school level, Cory, of operating out of a shotgun constantly.
Yeah, I mean, that right there, you know, I thought I may have jinxed things, as I said that it was
okay. Punt units out there.
It was over, but Hansberry loses that football. There's no telling what happens there, but luckily for Upper St. Clair, he bounced back on it.
4th and 13. This punt away, not much of a rush there. It is a high punt that will be fielded at the 25-yard line by North Hills and spun down on the return after about a 10-yard pickup is Austell.
And for whatever reason, clock's still running. Chains of possessions, there was about 51, 52 seconds left.
Yeah, and I'm assuming right now that North Hills is going to very politely point that out.
I mean, it's still, we're under 30 seconds now on the clock.
Well, the officials see it.
Yeah, it comes in. I mean, that just can't happen at this stage of the game for North Hills. I believe it was 51 seconds or around there that's on the clock, where North Hills, they will have that to work with, but trailing by 14 doesn't leave much hope.
And now the official will point out, I think he's saying 45, which still might be not exactly where North Hills would like it, but nonetheless they have it up there.
Yeah.
55, okay. Oh, there's some confusion. Are you good at reading fingers, Cory?
I think it's 49 is what he's saying. And that is. They've got it fixed now.
It's week 1 for everybody.
It sure is.
49 seconds remaining. North Hills down by 2 scores. Need to get something quickly here. 40-yard line is where they begin this drive for the Indians. Hurd out of the gun, has 2 receivers each way and a sidecar to his right. We'll see if he airs it out. Now he's flushed out of the pocket. He's going to have to step up and run. He's got some running room beyond the 45, across the 50 and brought down, but that's a first down pickup. Although with this dire situation. Might need even more than that 15 or so yards that he got down to the 47.
Yeah, 16-yard gain, but needing a lot more, no time on the clock here.
Looks like he's going to spike it here, and indeed he does. So that'll stop the clock with 37 seconds remaining. If you were listening or watching this game live, of course, the MSA Sports Network has archives of all the broadcasts. You could check that out if you missed any of the action early. And if you're a North Hills fan, you probably want to go back to the very beginning of this game. That was the only time the Indians found the end zone. An 80-yard scamper on the first offensive play by Tyler Brennan, but consecutive Hansberry quarterback keepers for touchdowns, and then a 39-yard pass from Hansberry to Pantelis has accounted for the 21 for Upper St. Clair. Hurt drops back, he's pressured, he's going to be brought down back inside his own 40-yard line, and he's not too happy as there's shoving going on after the play. Flags come flying from everywhere. One of the two players in on the stop and on that sack was Sapolio, and Sapolio and Hurt got in each other's face.
Sapolio, I think, was doing a little trash talking after he made the sack, and Will Hurt did not take that lightly. He kind of went right back at him, and then flags started to fly. Luckily, it looked like it was more just words and maybe a shove or two, no punches thrown or anything like that.
So 24 seconds remaining in this contest. No matter what the penalties are here, it's going to be near impossible for North Hills to try to put together two scoring drives. We'll see what the Indians try to do, but if this is ultimately a defeat for North Hills, that would even the Indians' record of 1-1. And up next, well, it's not going to get much easier. A trip to Imperial to play West Allegheny, and it looks like they will call penalties both ways here, Cory.
It's the right call. It's the right call. Personal fouls on each side, unsportsmanlike on each side, offsetting. It's after the play, so that play will still count. And that turned into, I believe, a 16-yard loss or so on the sack.
Back to the 40. You mentioned what's next for North Hills. Upper St. Clair has another road game at Moon. It'll be the third consecutive road game to open the campaign for the Panthers. Well, when you're looking at this conference, we thought it'd be more wide open this year than years past. This Upper St. Clair team gets a big win here on the road, and they might be in good position to really challenge for the conference title. As the handoff goes up the middle, out to about the 50-yard line on that carry is Gillespie, but too little too late for North Hills as the final seconds tick off the clock. This game is over 21-7. The margin of victory for Upper St. Clair as the Panthers come to Westview and knock off the homestanding North Hills Indians. We'll step aside. We'll be back to give our thoughts, a score and recap, and to wrap this one up. Once again, 21-7, the final score in favor of the Panthers. It's 2017 WPIAL football. It's the MSA Sports Video Spotlight Game of the Week, and it's also right here on 1320 AM WJAS. Gone final with The North Hills Indians, the home team, trying to get a big victory. It was not to be. Upper St. Clair comes into enemy territory and scores a 21-7 victory over the Indians. I'm Sean Meyers alongside Cory Campano, also Jess Levo, doing a great job tonight manning the camera. Once again, this was the MSA Sports Network Video Spotlight Game of the Week. Thank you for everyone that was watching or listening through the MSA Sports Network or through 1320 AM WJAS. I will be back for the next several weeks alongside, more times than not, the legendary Lanny Fratteri. He'll be back next week here on WJS, and he will provide the play-by-play like only he can. The next game on WJS, by the way, Hempfield at Mount Lebanon. And that will be a big game in the 6A classification next week. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. Let's talk about how this one unfolded. Cory, it was a great start for North Hills. As the scoring recap will show, Upper St. Clair took over in the second half of this game. Let's take a look at that scoring recap. Just 24 seconds in, North Hills gets on the board courtesy of an 80-yard run by Tyler Brennan on the first offensive play. The Daniel Wagner extra point made it 7-0 in favor of North Hills. That was the one and only score for the homestand Indians. However, from there on out, 21 unanswered by Upper St. Clair, the first of which came with under 2 minutes left in the first half, 1:52 to be exact. Jack Hansberry, the quarterback, on a 1-yard keeper. The Sean Martin extra point deadlocked the score at 7-7. That's what it was at the half. But in quarter number 3, a pair of scores for USC. With 9:14 remaining, Hansberry, an 8-yard run. The Martin extra point made it 14-7. And then the big blow with 1:05 remaining in that third stanza. Chris Pantelis, a 39-yard reception on a pass from Hansberry. Martin again was true on the extra point. 21-7 was the score, and that was the final score, as Upper St. Clair evens its record on the campaign at 1-1. The Panthers, after a loss to Steubenville last week in Ohio, get a form of redemption, and North Hills not able to get over the hump once again against a heavyweight in this conference, as the Indians fall to 1-1 after they knocked off Shaler a week ago. Cory Campano, your thoughts on this game?
Really, just the quick start. It's just a weird game. The quick start, we thought North Hills did exactly what was necessary in order for them to not do anything else the rest of the ball game. And in the second half, went in that big touchdown at the end of the first half that got all the momentum for Upper St. Clair, and then their game plan was just executed in the second half. They ran the ball well. They got Hansberry time when he wanted to throw the football, and the defense really stepped up all night for the Panthers.
And again, talking about this conference, West Allegheny is a great team. They probably will be again, but they lost a lot. Woodland Hills, always a great team, but with a new coach and with a lot of new players, you don't know how good the Wolverines are going to be. These two teams, I believe, are going to be in the playoff discussion. So for Upper St. Clair to come on the road to get this victory, you could realistically say maybe the Panthers might be the team to beat.
They might. I mean, in the way that they showed resilience in this game to come back. I mean, this game right here, especially after what happened in the first week for them against Steubenville, to lose like that, but then to come out here and be down right away and say, oh, no, here we go again with that touchdown by North Hills on the first play of the game, but to turn it around and do what they did here tonight, I would absolutely agree with you. They've got the experience on their side with Jim Render. That guy knows how to win ball games, and Upper St. Clair really came to play tonight, especially quarters 2 through 4.
If anyone's keeping track, by the way, 391 now for Jim Render. He has a realistic shot to get to 400. If he does so this season, it's probably going to be a pretty good year for the Panthers, but that certainly could happen. For Upper St. Clair, now 1-1, and as we mentioned, the next game again will be on the road, as the Panthers will travel to play Moon in section play. On the other side, North Hills has its record evened at 1-1, and it's going to be a tough situation for the Indians to try to rebound. They will head to play West Allegheny next week. Well, that's going to do it here from Martorelli Stadium. Cory, I'm not going to cut you off yet because you got some interesting stats to get to.
Yeah, interesting indeed, considering at the end of the first half, we had 181 total yards for North Hills. They finished the game with 239, but remember, there was no passing yards in that first half. So they finished the game with 183 rushing. Upper St. Clair held North Hills to 2 yards rushing in the second half. The complete numbers, 183 yards rushing, 56 passing, 239 total for North Hills. For Upper St. Clair, 151 rushing, 202 passing for Jack Hansberry, 353 total. Hansberry was 10 of 16 through the air for 202 and that 1 touchdown, no interceptions. On the other side, Will Hurt, only 3 of 7 for 5 yards with an interception. The 1-for-1 for 51 yards, though, came for the tight end, John Hodnick, and that pass was completed to Melvin Banks. Banks had a big first half with 84 rushing yards. He finished with -5 in the second half to finish with 79 total. Tyler Brennan, another notable with 3 rushes for 80 yards. Notables on the receiving side of the football for Upper St. Clair as was number 2, Tom Kyle, as he had led the team in receptions with 4 for a total of 61 yards. Colin McClendon did finish the game with 21 rushes for 96. And Jack Hansberry, obviously, the 2 rushing touchdowns and 3 throwing, and he did have 46 yards on the ground to go with the 202 throwing. Turnovers, 1 for North Hills on the interception, none for Upper St. Clair. And maybe the biggest stat of the night, 9 penalties for 80 yards for North Hills in comparison to 4 for 45 on the Upper St. Clair side. All in all, 21-7 Panthers.
Well, that's a wrap. Now we are going to say goodbye. I want to thank Jess Levo. Did a great job manning the camera, providing the videography as always for this Video Spotlight Game of the Week. Everyone back at 13:20 a.m. WJAS for helping us get this one as well. Well, for my broadcast colleague, Cory Campano, this is Sean Meyers signing off once again. Your final score, 21-7. Upper St. Clair knocks off North Hills. Coming up after we sign off, it's the WPIAL Football Scoreboard Show with Dawn Rebel from the MSA Sports Control Center with Cory Campano, Sam Hall, and all the scores and recaps from Week 1. Don't miss the WPIAL Football Scoreboard Show after the game, only here on the MSA Sports Network. Good night, everybody.